Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to KUMB TV's Eyes Up, Mother Brown. It is Manchester United versus West Ham United today from Old Trafford. The Hammers going for what I think, actually, Rio, might be an all-time record for the club. In that, if we were to win today, I'm guessing that would be the first time ever in one season we've won twice at Old Trafford.
I certainly think that's a possibility, and I think you're completely spot on now. We haven't won ever since 2007. No, David Moyes got an abysmal record as a manager up at Old Trafford.
Yes,
the records are there to be absolutely destroyed and smashed, and we've
indeed
done that.
they are. Indeed they are, and
a lot of times under the Moyes regime.
Yeah, I was going to say when you said that he hadn't performed that well at Old Trafford, I guess that extends to when he was manager there briefly, doesn't it, in 2013 or whenever it was. But I'm sure that over the years since then, some of those Man U fans might have wished that they'd kept Moisey for the long term. What do you reckon?
I certainly think that's a valid point. They've chopped and changed, chasing glory, and look where it's got them.
Yeah,
they're in an absolute bit of a shambles. Behind the scenes, it's a complete mess.
Mm-hmm.
On the pitch, player power has come to the fore, and you can tell whoever's been in charge of that particular outfit, they've not managed to produce anything of note. And no, I think if they'd have stuck with Moyes, particularly if you look at the job he's done with us, and his record when he was there wasn't that bad. I think it stands up. It's probably amongst the best one or two since the departure of Ferguson. Because instant success didn't come, they jumped on the bandwagon, got rid, and it's done them no favours whatsoever.
Who suffered more, Manchester United or Arsenal, since the loss of Ferguson and Wenger?
I actually think it's United.
Right.
Purely because of where they was beforehand. It was clearly a club on decline, which is why Ferguson jumped ship when he did.
Mm-hmm.
But the tools at their disposal, the money at their disposal, because you've got to factor in that Arsenal, despite their lofty position at the time when Wenger was in charge, they still had that financial woe in the background regarding the stadium. United haven't had that. United have had a lot of money to spend, a lot of high-profile players going in and out, and they've done absolutely nothing with it.
No,
can't say I'm gutted, but
no, few tears shed at this end, that's for sure. But anyway, should we take a look at this? I should introduce my co-commentator here this afternoon. Of course, I've not done that. How remiss of me. Sorry, Rio. We're not giving you a proper apology. I'm joined today by Rio, as you've probably already established. How you doing, buddy? So just the two of us. Pinky is live at the stadium. Gnome is elsewhere, doing birthday things, I think, Rio, this afternoon with a member of his family.
Yep, there's a lot of 50th birthdays going on this year.
Yes, there is.
Actually, my best friend Lee, it's his 50th day.
Happy birthday, Lee.
Young Jeff, who's Gnome's younger brother, and has made a couple of appearances on Eyes Up Mother Brand along the way.
He has.
And a delightful young fella he is as well. His 50th birthday today. So many happy returns, Jeff.
Yeah, from everybody at KUMB, Jeff, many happy returns. Hope you have a wonderful day. Hope that big brother of yours spoils you and makes it a day to remember. But well done, buddy. Have a smashing day from all of us. Talking about the Gnome family, I think most of them have made an appearance at some point now, haven't they? We had Gnome Senior, didn't we, a few weeks ago, doing the ironing. In fact,
yep. That's got to be a first for a football podcast, I think. Express ironing in the background. I don't know whether they was trying to hurry up Gnome out of the household and get rid of him after a weekend of gnomish type behaviour. But that was one of the highlights, non-footballing highlights of the whole year so far.
It certainly was. Yeah, Gnome Senior doing the ironing in the background. I can't remember which game it was, but I remember it being quite a jovial occasion. So we must have been winning at that point, Aaron. But anyway, onto more pertinent matters than the ironing and the laundry situation at Gnome Towers. And we're going to have a look at this afternoon's teams, and Rio is going to take us through some changes for the Hammers this afternoon, Rio, and also for our opposition too.
Yeah, changes the foot for us. First of all, I'm going to run you through the Manchester United side. In goal, David De Gea. Back four, according to the BBC Sport website, of Diego Dallo, Harry Maguire, Rafael Varane, and Alex Telles. In midfield, Fred, Scott McTominay, and Bruno Fernandes. And a forward three of Mason Greenwood, Young Ilanga, I can't remember his first name, I think it's Anthony, and the unwelcome appearance of the person who's causing a lot of disruption, from my point of view, to the whole Manchester United dressing room.
Okay.
Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yes, we'll come to that in a minute.
On the bench for the home side are Phil Jones, Wayne Mata, Anthony Martial, Marcus Rashford, the lesser spotted Jesse Lingard, Edison Cavani, Dean Henderson, Juan Matic, and Donny van der Beek.
What about West Ham?
West Ham, we make three changes from the team that had that kind of woeful performance against Leeds last week.
Yes.
The first change of those, in goal, Alphonse Areola. A back four of Vladimir Soufal, Craig Dawson, the returning Kurt Zouma, and Aaron Cresswell. In midfield, we have Declan Rice and another returnee, and a third of our three changes, Thomas Souček. Line up in our forward attacking positions, we have Jared Bowen, Manuel Lanzini, Pablo Fornals, and Mikel Antonio. On the bench today for us, as per usual, Andrei Yarmolenko, Nikola Vlasic drops to the bench, Mark Noble, Issa Diop, Ryan Fredericks, Arthur Masuaku, Ben Johnson, Alex Crowell, and Darren Randolph.
There it is, the two teams for this afternoon's encounter at Old Trafford. The two Uniteds, Manchester versus West Ham. Some changes in that West Ham team. How pleased, Rio, are we to see Kurt Zouma back in that back four? And is there any surprise that Diop is the guy to go after last week's performance?
We can pick holes in last week's performance for hours upon end. I actually thought Issa didn't have a bad first half. The second half, I think the words "falling off a cliff" come to mind. So it's no surprise that Kurt's back. And let's be honest, Issa was the worst of the two kind of fall guys at the back. And it isn't no surprise that he makes way. He looked, his confidence looked absolutely shot to pieces behind in there. Kurt's back. I think he's been missing since, was it the Chelsea game?
Chelsea, wasn't it? Yeah, that game where we beat them. Yeah.
So he's had COVID, he's had the injury. So I'm asking him to step into a team, a game at today, maybe a big ask, but he's desperately needed. Need a calming influence at the back. And as we say, after last week's confidence-sapping performance, let's hope he can step up to the mark.
Indeed. Big news for West Ham. And of course, a couple of other changes to the team today. Another player who I'm sure is going to be welcome back, Thomas Souček in the heart of midfield.
Yeah, absolutely. Another big miss. I think he was missing through COVID himself as well.
Yeah.
Playing against Leeds the first time in the Cup, when they was decimated by injuries and whatever, and against Norwich, where you didn't have to be your best to beat Norwich, you know.
Yeah.
You could afford to play a wealth of attacking talent. Last week, as we saw, too many attacking options. We lost that balance. We kind of overrun in midfield at times. It didn't do us any good. So Thomas's calming influence in the middle there, also his threat from set pieces, again, welcome return.
Yeah, very much so. Very much. And of course, there is one other change in the goalkeeping position that, as you mentioned before, Alphonse Areola coming in. And we were just saying before, we think that's his first league start of the season. Well, it is his first league start of the season. We know it is.
Yeah, first league start of the season. Or we believe Lucas Fabianski's come down with COVID again.
Yeah.
So, if you just look at the performances that Areola's put in throughout our cup forays this year, there's very little blame you can place on him for any of the goals we conceded. And we haven't conceded that many. I think the biggest question mark for me, maybe over the Tottenham Cup game.
Yeah.
Apart from that, he's been largely impeccable. And his distribution is a class above Fabianski's at the moment. So I'm losing Lucas, obviously, it's a loss. But we've got a ready-made replacement stepping in there. Someone who I trust implicitly and I think will do an excellent job for us. And if he cements his place and puts in a performance today, he could cement his place in the league's lineup as well on a long-term basis.
Mm-hmm. Do you think he'll sign on a permanent contract at the end of the season?
I definitely think it's a possibility, but I think him getting league game time is the key factor to this.
Yes.
And I think this is what might add to our favour today as well. He'll want to stump his authority today and making that goalkeeping shirt his own and that place in the starting lineup his own. So if he puts in the shift today, makes himself undroppable, I think we've got much more chance of signing him on a long-term basis.
Yeah, I think there were some rumblings of discontent, weren't there, given that he hadn't played an awful lot of football and he was looking to get some more regular games under his belt. But definitely one of the best backups in the league, I think you'd have to say, in terms of our two goalkeepers. There's probably not many out there that's much better, is there? If you look at a 1 and 2, perhaps, Fabianski and Ariolo, not really a lot between them. They're both reliable.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we've got the mighty Darren Randolph on the bench as well today, who was linked with a move, wasn't he, to Villa, but that didn't materialise in the end.
No, to be fair to Darren, he's come from, he was Championship goalkeeper of the season when he rejoined us.
Yeah, Borough, wasn't he? He came from.
Yeah, played a few games, didn't do a bad job at all. But, when you're up against the likes of Lucas and now Alphonse, he's a decent keeper, Dal, but, he lacks that top-notch quality.
Yeah.
So it's no surprise to see him drop out of the picture. And I don't think anyone would begrudge him a move, even if he was to Villa. I mean, no one wants to go to Villa, really, do they? But,
We're sort of blessed, aren't we, in that department? We've also got, of course, the mighty David Martin in there as a fourth choice player, and then you've got a couple of youngsters who are out on loan, or at least going out on loan again this week. So we've always got a team of goalkeepers when you look at it like that, but definitely well stocked in that area. One area we're not particularly well stocked in at the moment is, of course, up front. You concerned by the lack of movement in the transfer window so far, or is this just business as usual for David Moyes, leaving everything until the final week?
Let's be honest. When there's not been a much activity across the whole league, has there? At the top level. Take away Villa, who are trying to buy everybody just because it stops Newcastle getting them, and Newcastle trying to buy one because they've got the money to throw at people, but no one really wants to go there because their league position. There's not been that much movement. I'm disappointed we haven't got another forward in so far, but I'm not surprised. Mm-hmm. And I think, again, it's the nature of the January window, isn't it? No team wants to let their better players go.
Yeah.
And if they do, they want to get a replacement in, which takes time. So it's a bit of a domino effect, the whole transfer window in January. So the fact that deals happen toward the later period and often the last day isn't no surprise. It's a little disappointing, as I said, but I think it's just the nature of football.
Yeah, totally agree. Are you? Do you expect movement in the final week? I mean, it's pretty much Moyes' MO, isn't it, to leave it to the last 3 or 4 days to see. We talk about that domino effect of one big transfer starting off a whole tranche of transfers to follow it. Moyes doesn't seem keen to be the one to make that move. We are aware that there is money to spend. But what do you see in terms of coming? One player, maybe a couple. Is that defender necessary now? Zuma's back?
Because Issa dropped off that cliff last week, I think it is still. Obviously, Kirk coming back is a massive fillip for us. Mm-hmm. But I'd rather he play on that right-hand side of defence and we get a left-sided defender in. So I am expecting at least another central defender. Mm-hmm. You'd hope a forward is in the offing somewhere. But I still think there'll be a third player coming as well. Okay. And the rumours about Jesse Lingard have been hovering around us since the day he left. Mm-hmm. I'm not convinced he'll be the one to join us, but I think there will be another. I think there'll be a third player coming in. Okay. Maybe a left back, maybe someone to augment that midfield. But yeah, there's definitely moving coming for me.
Some good news. Oh, well, actually, before we do that, let's touch on the player you've just mentioned him there, and in the build-up, Jesse Lingard, player that's obviously been linked with West Ham since he was here on loan. talk of Newcastle being in for him. What do you see that? Where do you see that situation going? Do you think Lingard's likely to move, or do you think he's just going to hold fire until the summer and see what offers he's made?
I just think it's a completely strange approach from the player himself.
All right.
I can understand Manchester United want him to kind of come to join us. But the player himself must be, I would have thought, would be chomping at the bit to get regular first team football, trying to push from his England spot back because they've got the World Cup coming up in at the end of the year.
Yeah.
If you're playing week in, week out, you're making an impression on Gareth Southgate. What surprises me that he doesn't look particularly concerned that he's not playing week in, week out at the moment. Excuse me. His body language doesn't strike me as a player who is desperate to leave Manchester United. In his fleeting appearances, bar the game against us, when he broke our hearts in the last moment.
Yeah.
He hasn't really done a lot, has he? So it's a bit of an enigma. And I don't know if it's down to the player chasing more money over a potential life-defining moment playing at the World Cup. Oh, yeah, it's just a strange one. I find the whole situation with Jesse really, really strange.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an odd one. You'd think, I mean, the other thing is, I mean, it's not like he's 21 or 22, is it? So he's got his whole career ahead of him and he's got the opportunity to sit it out and wait. We're talking about a player who's going to be 30 in less than a year or so. So time is maybe not exactly of the essence. We're not talking, he's 32 or 33, but I guess you could also argue, though, couldn't you, that this is going to be his last big move. If he takes a 4 or 5 year contract, that's going to pretty much rule him out after that. So I guess from the player's perspective, it's going to be one that he wants to get right. Of course, in his situation, he's probably not strapped financially. So I guess it's more about the football than the offer on the table in terms of a financial reward. But anyway, we shall see what happens with that. Obviously, a good player for us, but in the squad, as Rio mentioned at the top of the show there in the Man U squad today, on the bench, so we may see a little bit of him. Predictions today, Rio. What are we thinking? We said I saw a stat actually before we come to that. Manchester United and West Ham United have played 25 times in the Premier League at Old Trafford. Manchester United have won 20 out of 25. I'm trying to think of the wins. We beat them when Defoe scored, didn't we? The year after the cup win, the Di Canio win. So that would have been 2003.
Yep.
With a header, we won 1-0. 2007, of course, 2007, as you mentioned, the Tevez goal that we somehow held on to and helped make sure that we stayed up. Of course, a draw would have been enough that day. Have we won this? We haven't won this since, have we? That was the last one.
That was the last time in the league, yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, we won there in the cup early in the season.
Yeah. 15 years. 15 years. It's a long time.
It is. And the thing is, every time we've gone up there, since that time, there have been very few occasions we've been absolutely dominated. We've had a couple of heavy defeats, but I can remember quite a few under the Allardyce era where we went up there and we gave them a game.
Yeah. But
quite often we've been undone by, shall we say, dubious refereeing, moments of magic. They've been quite often reasonably tight games. It's never been like you come away thinking we got an absolute hiding there and we deserved it. Maybe once or twice, but certainly not.
Yeah,
consistently.
No, and the one that always sticks in mind for me was the cup game, not Premier League, but the cup game in 2016. You're talking about dodgy referees. Payet scored that incredible free kick, one of the greatest free kicks I've ever seen live, and in fact at all. Actually, I think it was just an incredible strike. And of course, I think it was 7 minutes to go. And Schweinsteiger just pushed Randolph into the net, didn't he? And I think it was Martial who scored. But of course, before the days of VAR, so not that probably would have made much difference anyway. But we've been denied once or twice. And there was also a time we spoke about Defoe, and I think it might have been the year following the win. We scored up there, and Defoe was about 4 yards onside, but they called him offside. There was a player standing out wide. I don't know if you remember that particular occasion, but We've had some absolute shockers up there refereeing wise, but hopefully VAR will level it out a bit today. We live in hope. It's sort of gone a bit for us and against us in recent weeks. But anyway, the players are pretty much ready to come out. West Ham in our change strip of that Argentina kit, beloved of the early 90s, with the Dagna Motors sponsor on the front. It had two sponsors actually, didn't it? It wasn't just Dagna Motors, was it? Didn't we change halfway through?
No, I think it was Dagna Motors purely for that season.
I've got the shirt up here, hanging up in the office. So I thought we got a different sponsor in with the same kit. The following anyway. If you know, tell us. If you're watching on the stream, let us know. Predictions, Rio. Predictions. Score. What did we say?
Do you want me to ruin the whole afternoon for you?
Yeah, come on.
I've been unbelievably hopeful all weekend. All week. And today's cemented that for me. I think it's because all my kids are out. My missus is out. I've got a house to myself and do what the hell I like. But I have been absolutely buzzing about this game since last weekend's performance, which I shouldn't be. So I'm going to go for a 2-0 win.
2-0. Excellent. Well, we'll take that. The players are just coming out now. I wish I could be as optimistic. I guess really, I'd like to say, I get the feeling. I can see they're not playing the best football they've played for some years, as we said. Where getting somewhere back to our best. Of course, a little bit of a nightmare last weekend, but we'll put that down to the team having an off day and having a part of a heavy fixture schedule. But I'm going to temper expectations just for balance, and I'm going to go for one of those horrible 1-0 defeats that we seem to suffer from fairly frequently up there, with us having a lot of the second half, but just not managing to score. But anyway, so Rio's going for a 2-0 win. I'm going for a 1-0 defeat. Let's see what you guys on the forum are saying. Gnome of this parish going for a 2-2 draw. Polaroid going for a 1-0 draw. Both goals in the first 15 minutes, says Polaroid. Souček and Maguire. Souček first goal scorer, and result 1-1 pays 159-1 and sod the fuel rise. So a pretty specific prediction there from Polaroid. If that comes in, mate, I shall be checking you for the lottery numbers a bit later on. Jeff, happy birthday again, Jeff. Going for a 2-0 West Ham win along with Rio. So let us know what you think. Give us your predictions. Hello to everyone just joining us on the stream. West Ham United at Old Trafford this afternoon. As we were saying, if the Hammers could win today, it will be the first time ever in our history, our long, illustrious history, that we've won twice in the same season at Old Trafford, following that win in the League Cup, Carabao Cup, sorry, for you youngsters, earlier in the season. So we're just about to kick off. Hobo, just touching on, we were saying about some of the dodgy goals or dodgy decisions we've suffered up there over the years. Hobo saying that I seem to remember Nolan's kneecap being offside up there. Rio, remember that one? We had a good thread, didn't we, on the forum about that one? Everyone drawing pictures, and long before the days of VAR. But the linesman was technically correct, but it was he took a fly, didn't he? Basically, and got lucky.
Absolutely, abysmal decision. The only positive to come out of that particular passage of play was the fact that MS Paint got its user ratings thrown through the roof. There's people using it galore on KUMB, and I think since then it's probably become obsolete. But MS Paint was absolutely amazing that weekend.
Yeah, probably the most prevalently used it's been on KUMB since the Where's Quasi thread from all those years ago, where everyone was trying to figure out where Nigel Quasi had gone, having been out of action for about 18 months. Game's just about to kick off. We are almost underway. Looks like West Ham kicking from right to left are going to be kicking off. Mikel Antonio, a little close up of our main man there, looking busy. Quick shake of the hands with Bruno Fernandes. Antonio gloved up today, Rio. What do we reckon on that one? I mean, you expect it at the foreign lads, don't you? But a Wandsworth boy?
Yeah, we've all been to Manchester. We all know how cold it is once you get past Watford. No, you can't blame him. And he's now used to Jamaican climes, isn't he?
Yes.
Anything below 26 degrees, that man's going to be shivering like anything. He's probably got his thermal underwear underneath them shorts, and you're probably a sight to behold there.
Well, we're underway anyway. West Ham have kicked off in this afternoon's big game at Old Trafford. And in terms of that result last week, Rio, I mean, it's doesn't make today a must-win, but it's probably more of a must-not-lose, isn't it? Really, in terms of looking at our overall league position come the end of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. But we cannot afford to lose this. It's a massive game.
Yeah,
in a lot of respects, not helped by the results on Thursday night, because United themselves got absolutely battered for 45 minutes before remembering how to play football. And we all know what the terrible, terrible ending of that game at the King Power ended up, which I don't really want to mention. But both of those results have put the pressure on us. But we got returning players. Now I'm confident still.
I totally agree. Even though I've given a prediction for us to lose. Just thank you very much. Thank you. Sustenance in for the day. West Ham, anyway, looking to break on the right-hand side. Rio, are you good for a stream? I didn't ask.
I am, at the moment, struggling. Okay. I will get back to you as soon as front one is a little bit stable.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll keep everyone up to date. Just give me a shout when you're in. Kurt Zouma on the ball for the first time this afternoon. Kurt making his eagerly awaited comeback from that what looked like a pretty horrendous injury. What do you make of that, Rio? I mean, the initial diagnosis was that we were looking at March. He's smashed that deadline, hasn't he, to come back sort of 6 weeks early?
Yeah, dare I say it, there's a little bit of shenanigans involved, but we bought this player for Chelsea, who seemed to get away with a lot, and they've also got the miracle cure going somewhere, and he's probably still got that residually left in him. So that's my theory on that. But no, I won't mention anything about dubious about Russian ownership or anything like that, because it could cause World War III, couldn't it? So I will keep quiet.
Yeah, you don't want anyone daubing any dodgy substances on your doorknobs. That's for sure. West Ham with the ball deep into the Manchester United half on the right-hand side. West Ham have a throw. We've just seen a close-up Harry Maguire, who's watching Michail Antonio. Antonio's flick on his paw. Manchester United retrieve possession, and the ball's hooked back, but straight back into West Ham. West Ham have pretty much controlled the game in this opening 2.5 minutes. Man United have barely been out of their half so far. We did see one touch for Alphonse Areola, but West Ham looking good so far. And what do we make of this Man United team, Rio? I mean, and the new manager. I mean, they certainly haven't had much of a bounce, have they, in terms of positive results since young Ralph came in?
Yeah, no, I say there's so much going on in the background. I think player power is dictating a lot of this. There's obvious cliques involved in the dressing room, because it's not Paul Ralph who's suffering. It's the whole lot. And every incumbent who's come in has been at fault. But it looks like player power is dominant in the dressing room, and it's not to the benefit of Manchester United Football Club. It's to the benefit of certain individuals.
Certainly is. We've just seen West Ham break down the right-hand side. Excuse me, Jarrod Bowen combined it all. And we're just seeing ball given away terribly by Craig Dawson. Man U are countering, and they're through on goal here. This is a real chance. Oh, that's great work. Kurt Zouma has done an absolutely fantastic bit of defensive work there to deny the home side. It was Craig Dawson gave the ball away in a dreadful position, and the ball was it's a terrible ball. He was trying to play it across to Zouma, and Fernandes picked it up. Fernandes laid it to his right to Greenwood, but to Thomas Souček's huge credit, he got back and got behind Greenwood and stopped Greenwood from having a chance. For a moment there, it looked like he could have pulled the trigger and West Ham would have been in trouble. We are joined by a third member. Look at this. It's a face we haven't seen for a while. DL is back from his jaunts to the Highlands. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. And his mic's gone. He's looking for his mic.
I think he's ignoring us. That's the problem.
We can't hear you, Nick. Give us a shout when you've got your mic up and running anyway. But yes, good to see Nick back on the stream. DL joining us, all three of us for you this afternoon. As we said, Pinky up at Old Trafford. We might be able to get hold of him at some point during the game a bit later and get a live reaction for the match. West Ham playing the ball deep into the Manchester half, and the Hammers back on top. DL, are you back with us? Have we got you now?
I don't know, have you?
We have indeed. How you doing, my friend? Good to see you.
I'm good. I'm trying to find a stream as well. I'm like, trying to do this at 200 miles an hour and failing miserably.
How was Scotland? You've been, of course, taking pictures for a while. You're away.
I have, yes. It was great fun. It was a bit
Yep.
wet,
Yep.
but other than that, yeah, it was good. And the company was excellent as well. The old man of store, not the actual mountain, but I suppose you could call him a mountain. He's that way built. But no,
Yeah, he's got those rugged looks, hasn't he? He's very, very of the area, as it were.
Yes, you could say that. No, it was great. The hospitality was superb, and I enjoyed every minute of it. I would say I'm glad to be home, but the wife's listening, so I'm going to have to.
Good stuff. Well, 6 minutes in here, Michael Antonio's got the ball by the byline. West Ham looking to hold it up, but Manchester win the ball, and Fernandes lays it inside to Greenwood, and they're looking to counter, but West Ham really, really sharp closing down, and Bowen's just taken the ball out of mid-air with a fantastic touch. Now he's bursting towards goal on the edge of the area. Bowen looking to go round Maguire, but it's a good tackle, and the move is stopped. But absolutely fantastic touch there from Jared Bowen to take Fernandes' pass out of the air, bring it down onto his foot and surge towards goal. Someone's got a string. Who's got one?
Hey, I'm trying to mute the bugger.
I've got a stream. I'm just but I've only got it on my phone. It won't work on my iPad, so I'm trying to squint and look on my phone. So, but it's okay. Going.
All right. Well, we've all got something anyway. We can see what's going. Hello to everyone else joining us on the stream. Joe, David, AD, etc. Hobo, already mentioned. Good to see you, chaps. Come and say hello. Let us know what you think of the game as it's progressing. It's 7 minutes gone here. Manchester United 0, West Ham United 0 so far. The Hammers definitely having the better, of the opening exchanges. Rio, did you get a look at that chance where Dawson gave the ball away, or were you unstreamed?
That,
you saw it.
The stream I've got is currently at 6 minutes, so I'm probably about. I think I'm in a different time zone to you lot.
We were quite fortunate. We did a stream for before Leeds. I think it was Norwich when Pinky and I amazingly had it simultaneously together, and which was good. But once again, we're back to being on. Dio, where's your stream at? Where are you?
They've just put some graphic up over the clock of the win probabilities. We're only at 23. 7 minutes and 34. I'm at.
Well, yeah, we're only a few seconds different then. So Rio is our replay man today, which is usually something that befalls upon myself. Usually being a minute or two behind everyone else. Yeah,
it's not the greatest quality. I've just seen Soufal give away a free kick on the edge of our area there. Yes,
Manu, dangerous position. 24, 25, 26, 27 yards from goal. 3 or 4 red shirts hovering over the ball. Cristiano Ronaldo, of course, one of them. Alphonse Areola back in goal today. DL for the Hammers. Fabianski out, we believe, with a touch of COVID. We're just going to watch this free kick. It's Ronaldo steps up straight into the wall. The wall does its job, but falls back to Manchester United. Greenwood out on the right, tries to curl one in, and Aaron Cresswell does a good job to stop the shot or cross coming, and it's gone out for a corner. Nick, you're a big fan of Alphonse Areola's, if I recall.
I am, yes, and I'm glad to see him get his start. As a part of the match thread, it's kind of got a little bit of a whiff of when Randolph was a last-minute replacement for Adrian against Liverpool when we went up there for the first time in aeons and the only time in my lifetime. So let's hope it's a good omen. But since I've turned on, it just seems to be all Man United. So
it's kind of it's almost that's pretty accurate, actually. We barely been in our own half prior to you arriving, but they've enjoyed a good 2 or 3 minute spell in our half. They're looking to break on the right hand side, but Aaron Cresswell does a good job, and Declan Rice tidies up. Kurt Zuma, Nick, we touched on back in the team. Big player for you as well.
He is. Anything's got to be a bigger player than Diop at the moment. I've stuck my neck out for him enough times, and although I didn't see the entire game, I've watched the highlights of Leeds game.
Yeah,
and he never covered himself in glory. And you can only give at this level, you can only have so much patience with the player.
Mm-hmm.
Whether I don't know, whether he's got long COVID or whatever, and it's fogged his brain a bit more foggy than it always has been. I don't know, but he just seems to be on a different planet to everyone else at the moment. He's not quite with it So whether his head's not in the game per se, and he wants out the club, or whether he is still a little bit poorly, because it does happen.
Yeah,
I don't know, but either way, we need a reinforcement, because he cannot at the moment be relied upon, which is sad, because before he got COVID, he was back in form. So
yes, certainly
not making excuses for him, but that's the only reason I can think why he's had this massive drop off in form. It's quite startling, really.
Yeah, it's a shame. Started really well, but sort of fallen away, hasn't he? But just looking at our team there, Rio. You know, you've got Fabianski out, Dawson in for, obviously that would be Ogbonna in there. But Saïd Benrahma, of course, is coming back early from the African Cup of Nations, with Algeria having failed to qualify, having been smashed by the Ivory Coast 3-1 yesterday. But bar that, I mean, it's pretty much a full strength West Ham team now, isn't it? And we're hoping that we're going to see the best of them anyway today, I guess.
Yeah, I think it just exposes our paucity of options up front, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because you look there, if Antonio, as David Moyes himself said last week, was blown out of his backside towards the end there, and all you've got really as an attacking foray up front is Andrei Yarmolenko, who I've tried to, big up a little bit and praise. He's not an awful player. He's just not suited to the Premiership football. And his injuries have taken its toll. The pace of the game in England is just not suited to him. But it's a major worry. If Antonio goes down, we're left with Andre, and God help us all. But other than that, it's pretty much full strength apart from Saïd, who didn't really cover himself in glory in Africa either, did he?
No, he didn't. Only bet he got the opportunity to play, did he? When you've got someone like a 32-year-old Faguli and Islam Slimani, I think he's 33, being brought in or used instead of him, doesn't say a lot for the team's faith in him. But anyway, I'm sure he'll be a decent asset for us coming back. We are 12 and a half minutes in. Manchester United 0, West Ham United 0 so far at Old Trafford. It's been a pretty even game so far. West Ham had the first 5 or 6 minutes in terms of superiority. Manchester United have got back into it a little bit since then. No chances yet, really. Trying to think of a shot as it goes. Nick, I can't think. We had the Ronaldo free kick, which of course was blocked, but not been much action so far.
No, it's a bit moot at the moment, but it's still early doors. We need a goal. Simple as that. I'm just dreading. It's Man United at Old Trafford. I'm waiting for the inexplicable. I can't even say it. I've got the wife's teeth in this morning. I'm just waiting for the inexplicable refereeing or VAR decision against us. I was not going to watch today because I knew it had happened and I'll end up getting the But I've been drawn in, as you do, and because I saw the team with Areola in it, and I'm watching Antonio making a bursting run, but there's no one up there with him.
No, comes to nothing. And then that was just after another block shot from Ronaldo at the other end. Craig Dawson once again making amends for that earlier error when he conceded possession very, very sloppily on the halfway line. Could have cost West Ham, and Antonio countering quickly. But Maguire again across to deny him. West Ham with a throw-in.
Yeah, I think he showed Maguire a bit too much of the ball there anyway. He took a bit too hard a touch right at the wrong moment, really, and presented it to him. So who's that gone on the floor in their box there?
I'm not sure who it was. We've got another throw-in, though, and it's Souček's nodded it into the box. It's come to nothing, cleared out, and Manchester United looking to counter again now. Rio, what's your verdict on Harry Maguire? Quality defender or just overrated and overpriced?
Definitely overrated, definitely overpriced, but a decent defender.
Okay.
He's certainly not £80 million worth for me, but he's the archetypal English kind of centre-half, isn't he? He'll throw himself in front of everything, lay his life on the line. I just think he doesn't have the quality really which is needed at the top level. And he hasn't progressed since he's been at Manchester United for me.
Yeah.
He's kind of, it might be just indicative of what's going on behind the scenes there, that he seems to have suffered probably more than most. But look at Raphael Varane, come with an absolute huge reputation.
Yeah.
World Cup winner, and he's looked incredibly ordinary this season.
Ronaldo's just done some wonderful footwork to keep the ball, plays it into the box. It's a terrible, terrible delivery. And Dawson, yet again, is there to nod the ball clear, and West Ham have a throw in. Clever little touch from Ronaldo, but dreadful, dreadful pass. And Dawson is putting another good clearance. There was a game earlier today, actually, we can touch upon briefly. Before we do that, yesterday, what a result that was for Norwich to go to Watford and win 3-0. And earlier today, Everton sacked their manager last week, put big Duncan Ferguson in charge, made no difference, Nick, beaten by Aston Villa 1-0. And could Everton go down this year?
They could. I mean, there's nothing to stop them going down. I don't think they just seem in complete disarray. But by the same token, they have got the quality in there to get out of it. They're far more quality than the others that are sitting currently in the relegation zone and just out of it. But Norwich is an interesting one, isn't it? What story it would be if they survived? That would be absolutely bonkers. But
yeah,
but Burnley got 5 games in hand, so like it is at the top of the table, it's all a bit skew-whiff down there at the moment. It's not evened itself out. So it's a bit early to say about Burnley. They've got some winnable games amongst that lot, I would have thought.
Difficult for them, though, that they've just sold their best striker to one of their relegation rivals. And but of course, that result not good for Newcastle or Burnley at all.
And Villa are starting to... Gerrard seems to be, dare I say, doing a reasonable job. Yeah, and they've made some good signings. I'm surprised at that money we weren't in for that left back. And Coutinho seems to be doing all right as well. All right, he's got no space. He wouldn't have space in our team, but nonetheless, they've done some good business, and they're going about it fairly quietly, picking up a bit of form. So wouldn't be surprised to see them there or thereabouts at the end of the season in the top half or the higher bit of the top 10.
Yeah, well, that win today put them into the top half of the table. 26 points now from 21 games. Villa moved above Leicester, down in 11th place. But it's already tight in the middle. As it is in this game, where we're just coming up to 18 minutes gone. Manchester United 0, West Ham United 0. No real efforts on goal yet. A couple of block shots for Manchester United. But apart from that, it's been much ado about nothing. Not really a lot happening so far, which is good, Rio, I guess, for West Ham, right? We ideally we want to take the sting out of the home side and frustrate them, and hopefully get get a bit of frustration going amongst the home fans as well in the stands.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm about a minute behind you now. I've got a different stream come up. The thing that has really stood out for me is we made a couple of really promising forays into the Manchester United half. Yeah. A couple of surging runs. Mm-hmm. We're lacking just that support player up there of Antonio or Bowen to kind of help augment the attack and kind of kill them off. But there's space and there's time there to be had. And, they're vulnerable, Man United. I'm sticking my 2-0 because I think, they are beatable. You get them
someone like a Lingard up there.
They are beatable. Who?
I said we need someone like a Lingard up front.
Who? No.
Manchester United in possession, just inside the West Ham half. Anyway, West Ham all bodies behind the ball at the moment. Frustrating the home side. Nowhere to go. The ball coming in to the midfield, then being played back out because West Ham doing an excellent job so far of closing down any opportunity or space. Ronaldo plays another loose pass, but they keep the ball. And that's a clever ball, though, over the top of Soufal, but it comes to nothing. Manchester United still have possession with Fernandes, plays it back. Manchester United trying to build down the left-hand side. Neat little 1-2. They still have the ball right out on the touchline. Soufal in close attendance, though. The cross comes in. It's a dipping cross. Wicked cross in towards the far post. Ronaldo doing his best to get on the end of it, but it was just whipped in too much from him. Let's have another look at this now as it comes in. He's onside, gets between Zuma and Cresswell, but it's if anything, it's hit too well. DL that cross, and West Ham survived. But the first real moment of worry for West Ham.
Let's have a look. I don't know whether that was onside, I think he might have been slightly off, but VAR would have given it anyway.
I think it was Fernandez who supplied the ball. So really, I mean, we said Rio before. Well, hang on, West Ham looking to break. Unfortunate, Fornals was almost through there, but West Ham give away a free kick. It's Lanzini, I think, who concedes the free kick on the halfway line. Yeah, Fernandez, Rio, didn't he start against on the bench against us last time?
I have to check that up. I think he did, though, didn't he?
Yeah.
I will have to kind of check that to confirm, but he's been another one. Very, very. Last year, he ran the show at Old Trafford.
Yeah.
Without them, they didn't tick at all. And this year, he's been very, very. I think it's because his mates joined. Yeah. He's very much because he's not the main man anymore. He's kind of gone into his shell a little bit. And all that's coming to the fore of him isn't the silky skills and great football that he plays. It's just the posturing, the general sulkiness, and the snide little tactics he endorses quite often. It's not befitting a player of his talent, really.
We've just had our first effort on goal. Cross coming in from the right-hand side for Manchester United. Langer cutting back inside, crossing it with his right foot onto the head of Delot at the far post of the fullback, bursting forward. But the header is a cross goal, and it's no problem for Alphonse Areola, who gets the first opportunity. I think this is his first kick, Rio, isn't it, of the game? I don't think he's had the ball in his hands before.
No, I can't recall it at all.
Amazing.
20 minutes in, 22 minutes in, it's good signs. I'll just look at the replay again of that cross that come in, which went in from into Ronaldo. What worried me there is everyone seemed very static. Yes. I don't know if it's because Kurt's kind of feeling his way back into the game after being out for quite a while, and Craig Dawson's just kind of static at the best times anyway. But no one seemed to move enough for me.
We just had a rather bizarre incident where Jarrod Bowen has got kicked in the head, and referee Jonathan Moss has given the free kick the other way with Manchester United in possession. And I think there might have been a little tug before that, which is why he gave the decision the way he did. But anyway, it's we played 22 minutes and 22 seconds on the 22nd of the first 2022. How about that? All the twos. Richie Beno would be in his element right now out there, wouldn't he? For those of you who follow the cricket. But it's 0-0. Manchester United, apparently now, according to the stats on the TV, Nick, it's saying that Man U have had 5 attempts at goal so far. West Ham 1. I'm struggling to remember more than one of those. 5 attempts at goal. I think that's counting all the blocked efforts as well.
Yeah. Well, so long as the on-target bit stays at 0, they can have as many attempts as they like.
Yeah, it seems a bit generous. Early match stats halfway through the first half: 60% possession to the hosts, 40% for West Ham. As we said, 5 shots, none on target yet for Manchester United. West Ham 1 shot, none on target. A couple of those blocked, 1 corner for Man U, none for West Ham. It's all very, very, very slow at the moment, Ria. But as we said, this really should benefit West Ham, shouldn't it? Out of the 2 teams. Yeah,
we're kind of soaking up a little bit. Any kind of pressure we are reasonably soaking up. We're keeping them largely at bay. They've had no real clear-cut chances.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is the kind of the archetypal Moyes performance, isn't it? Soak up and try and hit on the break. And like I said, we made a couple of promising forwards. We're just lacking that support player up with the main forward.
Yeah,
I've just checked. Fernandez did start the home fixture, but I think it's indicative of how poorly he's been playing. I don't even recall him playing.
Must be thinking about the season before. How time flies when you've seen so many summers. A quick look at the touchlines and Manchester United's manager. Nick, what's your thoughts on the new boss there? Do you think he's got a chance? I mean, it's a strange situation, isn't it, where he's been put in temporary charge until the end of the season. So presumably he's not going to be afforded too much of a transfer budget if he's not going to be the long-term successor to Solskjaer.
I don't think Man U've got a clue what they're doing, to be honest. It just seems like a club in disarray. Okay, they're only a couple of points behind us. But I think that shows what their problems are, that they're a couple of points at this stage of the season behind West Ham. Long may it continue. I've got no time of day for them, to be honest. Absolutely none. They're just one of those clubs you can't warm to. They've got very little local support. And I don't know, it's sort of when you go to work and stuff like that. I know if they win, I'm back in at work on Tuesday, and although the game's on Saturday, I know that if we if we lose, I'm going to get people with southern accents coming up to me that never talk about football normally and then say, we've done you Saturday. And I just want to punch them in the head because they've never been to Manchester in their entire life and they're glory hunters, and clubs that attract the glory hunters just really annoy me. So the longer this continues with them, the better, really.
Well, we're 25 minutes in. Still in West Ham looking to break on the right-hand side. It's Jared Bowen with the ball, looking for options, cuts inside. What can he do? Finds Declan Rice in the centre of the pitch. Rice squares it to Lanzini, coming to the left-hand side. Lanzini's going to play all the way to the left touchline to Cresswell. Cresswell's going to look to try and get a ball in, but he's well marshalled. That's a good tackle. But Lanzini does really well to win the ball. And that's a West Ham throw, I think. But yet again, that's the second 50-50 decision for a throw-in this afternoon, and both have been given to the home side. The other one involved Kurt Zuma earlier in the game. So that's the problem, isn't it, Rio? Places like this, those little 50-50 decisions don't seem like much in the grand scheme of things. But, if that passage of play that follows leads to a goal, then it has got added importance, I guess you could say.
Yeah, absolutely. And the more you can sow the seeds of discontent up there, the better it is for us. So I think this home crowd, if we go a goal in front, will turn incredibly quickly and put the pressure on our own players. And as I said, the divisions in the dressing room will come to the fore even more because the players will get discontented with each other. There'll be a bit more chance to exploit kind of issues up there. So we need to kind of maintain this kind of attitude that we've got to make these decisions count. We all know that we're not going to get the rub of the green from the officials, so we've got to be a bit ruthless and a bit more kind of on point than we have been.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely right. 27 minutes gone. West Ham, Declan Rice winning a couple of balls. Michail Antonio again looking to surge into the back, the opposition box, denied yet again by Maguire, who's obviously been given the job of keeping an eye on him. But anyway, West Ham have the ball back. Declan Rice does well to win it. Manuel Lanzini in the centre circle, plays it short to Pablo Fornals, plays it back, played out left to Cresswell, at least it should have been. And unfortunately, Lanzini's just played the ball straight into touch. Hellos to, hi, Steve. Hi, Spencer. Good to see you on the chat, gentlemen. No goals yet, Steve. Still 0-0. Not really any real threat. I think we've just had that Delort header in the 21st minute that looked close to going in. But anyway, Manchester United on the attack. But again, it's a poor touch, and Declan Rice comes in. Yet another one of those interceptions, and the ball's played back to Alphonse Areola, who launches it long upfield when Manchester United win it back unchallenged. But Ronaldo picks the ball up in an offside position. Free kick given to West Ham. And first glimpses there of the Portuguese veteran forward, Nick, looking a little bit frustrated, remonstrating with the I think it was Maguire who played that long ball forward, but he seems to, it was quite early to throw your toys out the pram after 28 and a half minutes, but doesn't look particularly happy with the way it's going so far.
Good. I don't like him. He's a fabulous player, but good Lord. Excuse me. I think that's how he's been all his career, isn't it? If you don't get his own way, he starts stamping his feet.
Yep.
It is to remember, especially now at this stage of his career, that it's not all about him, that it is a team game and it doesn't revolve around him. I do think that some of Man U's problems stem from the fact that they re-signed him and have shoehorned him into a team which, towards the end of last season weren't looking too bad.
Yeah.
And they could have had a rejuvenated Lingard instead of Ronaldo, but instead they made the Hollywood signing because he looked like he could have been going to Man City. They didn't want him; they just didn't want Man City to get him. But of course, when you're spending all that sort of money out on a player, you can't leave him out. He sells shirts, and that's the kind of attitude and character you're having to deal with when you sign Cristiano Ronaldo, and it's to the detriment of the rest of the team. And long may it continue.
Yeah, I think DL's got it spot on there. In a club that was clearly got problems behind the scenes, you don't add the most disruptive influence in football into the mix, do you? Because it is all about him and all about him only. He's not going to help bond that team together. He ain't going to help kind of encourage the kids to come through and be good, better players. it's all about him and him only.
There's no Mark Noble, is he?
No.
And I don't mean that in a taking the Mickey kind of way. It's the attitude and the persona, and what, no matter, Noble's legs have gone and he's retiring at the end of the season, but I think his presence is going to be one that's sorely missed. But would you miss Ronaldo's presence in a dressing room if he was to leave?
I think you'd be trying to rush him out there a bit quicker, wouldn't you? Really, after 3 months of that.
Yeah.
I've got to say, gentlemen, I concur fully with both of you. I think it was a pointless signing for them. I mean, how many players have they got in that position anyway? And as a player, again, Nick, I'm totally with you. I think if you comparing him to Lionel Messi is like comparing apples and oranges. One of them is a extraordinary player who rarely complains about the challenges he gets. In some ways, similar to Diego Maradona. And the other one's Cristiano Ronaldo, who, as Rio rightly says, it's all about him. Nothing like as good as Messi, and certainly not in the same ballpark at all for me. In terms of the player themselves. As a player, yeah, he's a talented lad, of course he is. But give me Messi any day. West Ham have won a free kick just inside the Man United half. Michail Antonio is bundled to the ground. They take it quickly. Pablo Fornals with the ball, 5 yards further forward, but really hassled well. But it's a free kick. Bruno Fernandes all over Fornals, but it's a foul. And West Ham pretty much where they started. A free kick just 5 yards to the left of where the last one was. Steve Palmer says Mark Noble is much better than Cristiano Ronaldo. Of course he is. And also agreeing with Nick saying regarding it's money on shirts is the primary reason for buying Ronaldo. I think you're all absolutely correct. 32 minutes gone. West Ham with the ball still. It's been a real paucity of decent chances here, or any chances whatsoever. I can't recall a game actually that. Well, we're 2/3 of the way through the first half. Neither goalkeeper's had a save to make yet. The only effort we've seen on goal of any note or that looks slightly threatening was that Dalot header, or perhaps that cross from Fernandes that was missed at the far post by Ronaldo. But nothing so far. And as I said, this will suit West Ham. And you'd think the longer it goes on, the more frustrated the home team are going to get. Yeah,
two sides in the upper echelons in the Premier League. Two sides whose defences are rather vulnerable. And it's like watching Burnley v Stoke on a Monday night, isn't it?
It's been pretty awful, isn't it? Yeah. It is scrappy. You wouldn't think it is two top four contendees going toe to toe. It's been bloody awful. There's no two ways about it. But at the end of the day, we're stuck with Antonio, who's I don't know. I think his purple patch is over. I think he's had his 1.5 seasons, and that's not me putting him down. And we're looking woeful. I think we look woefully short up front. We're looking woefully short of creativity. And if anything, it's a shame with this AFCON, because this is kind of the game that sometimes Benrahma does step up to the plate and causes problems. And we could have actually done with him here. Not quite sure what Lanzini's been doing throughout this game. He's been pretty subdued. I don't know. Fornals, he's not firing how he was earlier in the season either. He doesn't seem to have that spark. And I've just lost my stream just as Fornals was on the ball. So I don't know what came of that.
Well, the ball's eventually come to Dalot on the right-hand side. He's looked to put a cross in, and it's just... It typifies everything Manchester United have done so far. Anyway, it's just too far. There's no one at the far post at all. There's no one coming in at the back post, and Manchester United are 6 and 7s. But I get the feeling, Rio, that not so much the fact that neither team are playing particularly well. I think that both teams are just doing a really, really good job of cancelling each other out at the moment. Manchester United have been sloppy. There's no doubt about it. There's been a lot of loose passes, but we've just been really well marshalled, I think, so far. We saw Cresswell taken out by Fernandes with some really good work. We spoke a few times about Maguire keeping a good eye on Antonio. For me, we don't seem to just been able to create those opportunities yet. But, I think you touched on it before. This is a defence that creaks at times, and those chances will come, you hope, as the game goes on.
Yeah, very much so. The two teams cancel each other out. We're not playing to our strengths, really. Lanzini being a bit off form isn't helping. When we do get those little breaks, we seem very disjointed. And actually, a couple of comments coming from the forum as well, that instead of playing through them and trying to get in behind the defenders, we're playing these horrible little floaty crosses into Antonio too often, which, with the size of Harry Maguire's head, he's going to lap that up every single day. So we need to try and probably alter the focal point of attack in the way that we get in behind the defence, because it's not going to be air, really.
Well, we've just seen a penalty shout from Manchester United. The first dive of the afternoon from Cristiano Ronaldo. Fairly certain it was a dive. Threw his arms back in mock disgust at the decision not being given, but I don't think there was much to it. A cross came in from the left-hand side. Ronaldo was well watched, marshalled by Kurt Zuma. But anyway, at the other end, West Ham have the ball. It's Soufal who's trying to get a cross in right by the touchline, but it's blocked, and West Ham now have a throw. Fred it was who put the ball out. Now, Jonathan Moss was unmoved by that penalty shout. I'm assuming there's no VAR check. Ronaldo is complaining to Moss and throws his arm up in mock disgust, as I said, once again, the petulant chap that he is. But no VAR check, or if there was, it's come to nothing. So nothing to worry about, even though the home crowd were looking for a spot kick. But anyway, West Ham have the ball, 35 yards from goal. Cresswell plays it out on the left to Fornells. Fornells has to backtrack. Declan Rice picks it up on the inside, surges towards goal, plays it out wide. Now, can Cresswell get the cross in? He can. Is there someone on the end of it? No, it's a Manchester United ball. It's only headed out as far as Pablo Fornells, but it's been given as a free kick. Cresswell apparently was offside, and so it comes to nothing. That really comes back, Rio, to what we went. Well, we're just having a look at this shout again now. Now, to be fair, Zuma's got his arms around Ronaldo, but Ronaldo just done what Ronaldo does. He's felt the contact coming from behind and thrown himself to the floor. It's, going back to, Steve Palmer says he's not really the place for this debate, but I think that summarises and encapsulates for me everything about Ronaldo and why he'll never be the same sort of player as Messi. Just throwing himself to the floor. It's just cheating. No need for it. He's a wonderful player, but he's a cheat. And for me, he's a scourge on the game, same as Klinsmann was for Tottenham all those years ago, Ginola. Players like that, just great players and don't need to do it, but wasteful.
Forgetting about Mo Salah.
You've seen that shout? No penalty for you?
Oh, no, of course not. Not a penalty in the slightest. You left out Mo Salah as well. Another player. Oh, gosh, yeah. Talent that cheats. They're you're right. They are a scourge on the game. But they, the only way you'll stop it is book them. But they haven't got the refs just haven't got the bottle, whether they're told not to or whatever. But you'd think that with VAR they would stop doing it, but they don't, because they still benefit from it because of the pundits and everybody else saying, "Oh, there was contact. He had a right to go down." No, get out of here.
Ridiculous. Delot's just done really well to leave 3 West Ham players trailing in his wake, but some good defensive cover. I think it was Dawson again who came across to avert the danger. I think Delot actually, Rio's probably been the most lively player for the home side so far today. He's been buzzing around all over the place.
Yeah, he's been very impressive. And he was the one who was supposed to be out the door, was he, last season? Not getting a game. But yeah, out of everyone on the pitch, he's probably been the most impressive. Very assured performance, and he's quite threatening down there. There's been a bit of criticism about Soufal's performance on the forum. Being wasteful, out of position often. But I think that's probably because Delot's, not because Soufal's been particularly poor in my mind. I just think Delot's been a really good player today.
We've just seen Manchester United's Ronaldo caught offside now. It's not even close, actually. He's a good 3 or 4 yards offside when the ball's played through. It skates behind the West Ham defence, but John Moss rightly calling it back. Just a quick look at the Red Cafe, the Manchester United forum. We're keeping an eye on this afternoon. MU4C_20LE, that's a mouthful for you, says in Spain that's a penalty. Talking about Cristiano Ronaldo, not quite sure what the point of that is. We're not playing in Spain, but there you go. And Laughter Assassin says Maguire needs to learn to stop heading the ball to no one. I'm sure at Leicester just winning it was enough, but so many times he has the time to head the ball to someone to chest it down instead. He gives it away. Random Tart says it was definitely a penalty, but I'm not even sure if VAR checked it. And Orange's 038 says, on another day, that could be a penalty, but not today, and certainly not with John Moss refereeing a United game, and certainly Orange's because it wasn't a penalty, because your player was a cheat and a dive, and it was a dive. So no questions at all there. We showed that graphic, gentlemen, about 20 minutes ago that said Man United have had 5 efforts on goal and West Ham 1. They've just shown that graphic again. It's exactly the same stat some 20 minutes on. So, yeah, Nick, I guess that shows what a pretty drab game this has been so far.
It's not good, is it? It's like extracting teeth at the moment. We're looking poor. They're looking slightly less poor. It's dreadful. I've come on for this. I've given up my Saturday off.
What a return. What a day to return.
It's all about the company, mate. It's all about the company.
It is. Last time I returned, I can't remember who it was, but we got absolutely annihilated. I can't remember when I'd been away for a bit, and I come back and it wasn't a good result. We've
just seen Jared Bowen almost rugby tackle to the ground, but John Moss has refrained from giving the free kick, much to his astonishment. But anyway, Manchester United have the ball on the left-hand side, looking to work it in. Thomas Souček doing some good defensive work. It's a nice little 1-2. But Soufal does well, sticks a toe out. And West Ham managed to clear, but it's a poor ball given straight away to Maguire. Manchester United the opportunity to build again on the left-hand side. 41 and a half minutes gone. Manchester United 0, West Ham United 0. Bruno Fernandes looks to play it inside. Craig Dawson once again steps out for probably the 4th or 5th time in this half, just anticipating that ball coming in and doing a great job of clearing it out. It's having a good half after that early mishap. And yet again, we've just seen a long ball played by Varane to, I'm not sure if it's Fernandes out on the left-hand side, but he's just sent the ball straight over his head now into touch, which they've done an awful lot today, haven't they, Dio? I'm not, I obviously, we don't watch Manchester United that frequently, and the highlights you see on TV probably remove such moments, so we've not been privy to that. But they've given the ball away an awful lot today, and really look at 6s and 7s.
They've been rubbish, but sadly, so have we. So it's evened itself out on another day. If we can get some kind of rhythm together, but it might be because I think they're actually defending pretty well. It's up front they're looking toothless.
Yeah.
And in the midfield, if we can just get a bit of rhythm, we may be all right here. We may be. I've just seen I've just caught up of that Bowen foul, and why that wasn't given, I've got no idea. No idea.
Looked a foul, didn't it, all the way?
Blatantly a foul. He chopped him from the
first time. Strange one. But anyway, we're rapidly approaching half-time. Still 0-0. West Ham doing a decent... I think it's been like that, Rio. I mean, Nick's made the point, I think, quite correctly there, that both defences, I think, have played really well so far in this half. And it's just neither attackers had the necessary nous to break either of them down so far. Yeah,
quite pertinent point, actually. I think it's just Maguire's return, isn't it, to the side after injury for a while? You would have thought Antonio and the rest of the team would be kind of really pressuring him and targeting him. And likewise, Manchester United against Zuma.
Yeah,
he's short of match practice too, just come back from COVID as well. But neither forward line has really kind of made an impact here. The only thing you can that really stands out about either side's forwards is that, Ronaldo's done his cheeky wink a couple of times. He's thrown his arm up in the air a couple of times. And that's the only thing I can remember from each side's forwards.
Well, as they're trying to play it through, though, we're just doing this ridiculous long ball up to Antonio. That's when he does get it, there's nobody around him, or it bounces off him, or he loses control of it. It's not the ball to be playing to Antonio unless he's in. Long balls to Antonio only work if he's in the box and it's a decent cross or whatever. The way we're playing at the moment, it's predictable. Long ball to Antonio, back it comes. Long ball to Antonio, back it comes, and it's dreadful.
Yeah, I think that it's a sentiment that United are sitting about 10, 15 yards deeper than we are. So, because they know that we're so good on the counter, we can damage them. But it's just not happening today because there's
real chance. Deep. Manuel Lanzini inside the box. Can he get a shot away? Inside, gets to the 6-yard box, but it's great defending to to be fair, that's superb. Sorry, Rio, for jumping in, but it's our best opportunity of the game. Worked from the right-hand side. Clever little step over from Michail Antonio. Saw the ball fall to the Argentinian, who burst towards the goal line, but it's some cracking defending. Again, I think it was Varane who got the challenge in and stopped the shot coming. But it all stemmed yet again from Manchester United giving the ball away cheaply and unnecessarily. And is that half-time? Oh, it is half-time already. We didn't play an awful lot there. I was just seeing McTominay walk off, shaking his head next to De Gea, who really hasn't had anything to do so far. Cristiano Ronaldo is complaining. He's gone up to John Moss and remonstrating, presumably for not being given a penalty when he dived, quite clearly cheated. And it's been, well, probably one of the worst first 45 minutes of football I've seen this season, DL. Can you think of any worse than that?
No, none at all. It's been crap. No,
yeah. Well, see, we can't even think of anything to say. It's been that bad. I don't know how we're going to feel the next 20 minutes, chaps, but
there's no highlights, is there? Really?
It's not been a lot to talk about.
Apparently, there's been a drone attack at Brentford. There we go.
A drone attack?
Something like that, yeah.
All right.
Let's have a little look. Let's go on the Auntie Beeb's site and see what they're saying about it.
Perhaps we can sign it and it can play up front alongside Antonio. Who knows?
Yeah, break after 2 days, you know that.
Where is it? What we got?
Well, there you go. If you've seen any of this, let us know on the live chat if you know anything about this incident.
Yeah, well, the game's been suspended at Brentford because of a drone over the pitch.
Oh, it's not exactly a Zeppelin over Wembley, is it? But
no. So yeah, so that's a bit of excitement. At least they've got a bit of entertainment. As the BBC is saying, they've gone for a hot dog, the players, and are waiting to come on.
All right. Well, we'll come back to that if anything happens. An interesting one. I think that's the first time we've ever seen a game suspended because of a drone attack or a drone. Just I'd be interested to learn what the drone was doing. Was it kind of just hovering around, or doing like diving at the goalkeepers or something like that? I mean,
I think it was just doing drone things. I think like
just behaving in a droney manner.
Yeah.
Yeah, strange one. Anyway, that's the reason we're talking about that and for so long is because there's been absolutely nothing happening at Old Trafford in the first half between West Ham United and Manchester United. Neither side have managed to muster a single shot on target. Apparently, Manchester United had 5 shots. Not quite sure. We couldn't remember those. 3 or 4 at least of those must have been blocked, or unless they're counting the cross from Fernandes that Ronaldo missed. The only chance I can really remember was the Delort header in the 21st minute. It was a longer cross from the left-hand side. Delort sending the ball back across goal, but missing the target. And Alphonse Areola, Rio won't, if he was dreaming about how his first Premier League start would go for the Hammers, I don't think even in his wildest dreams he could have imagined it would be as quiet and as easy as this.
No, he's had a very, very comfortable afternoon so far. Anything to note about him, I can mention is just towards the end of that first half, he had the ball come in, he had a wild kind of clearance and kick. It sliced away horrendously. That's because I praised him up for his distribution earlier, obviously. And but it was very well controlled. I think Cresswell managed to control it, and we went on the foray up front after that. But he's loving life at the moment. He hasn't been tested. De Gea hasn't, I don't think, touched the ball at all. They put their feet up, they're on the deck chairs, and then putting Antonio to shame because he's got gloves on, and they're sitting there under parasols with a cocktail.
I want to know what BBC are watching, because they've said it's goalless, but it's been a pretty decent game.
Has it?
That's what they're saying. Now, whether that's in comparison to the other 2 3:00 kickoffs,
yeah,
it could well be. But we have 3 3:00 Premier League games, according to. I'm going to have reading from the BBC text. That's because we've got bugger all to talk about regarding the game. Thank goodness, 3:00 Premier League games can't be shown on TV. 3 shots on target across 3 matches is not a great advert. So,
wow.
There we go. And Terry on Twitter, I'm presuming, yes, My Man United son is going to get in whack if he keeps having a dig at West Ham. Begs the question, why has Terry allowed his son to support Man United in the first place?
Shall we dip into the forums and see what our fellow West Ham supporters, Rio, have made of the game so far? See if they've any highlights or any particularly notable things they've spotted so far?
Yep. Can you bear with me one moment? I'm using the Mrs. iPad again.
All right.
Price knows where she stores the photos, so I'll take screenshots. But instead of being a normal person and having the photos lined up on the front page, I have to go bloody hunting.
Yeah, don't look in her secure folder, for crying out loud.
Shall I have a quick look at the Red Cafe while you're just digging those out, Rio? I could bring you a couple of comments from there. It's not actually going back to that instant where Ronaldo quite clearly cheated, attempted to cheat and dived and wasn't punished by Jonathan Moss. There's actually been a couple of people, a couple of Man U fans who aren't particularly happy with it. Civiz, for one, is not happy about Ronaldo throwing himself all over the turf and trying to cheat, saying that it spoilt the game, much as we were saying earlier on. Minu Dash United says, hopefully we'll play better in the second half and maybe maintain our passes. Rashford can be a little bit better than Greenwood, I say. James 35 piling in, first one to pile in on Fred, who seems to be their Andy Impey at the moment up there, says that Fred is an abomination, and it's clearly evident when we come up against anyone decent that McTominay is not good enough at this level either. How hard can it be for a club to replace two players so average when it's the clear area that needs improving first? Largely worried says, God, that was low quality. We probably just about edged it, but it's still depressing seeing what we're putting out right now. And Busby Malone says, same old problems really, just rudimentary passes going astray. There's absolutely no excuse for it, FFS. We had some decent moments in the game, but we're being let down by the basics. That's the Man United view. Rio's going to bring us the West Ham view from the KUMB.com forum match thread.
Yep, I've done the Enigma code on my Mrs. iPad, and I have the photographs.
Hey.
Okay. Who says British ingenuity is best there? Okay. Yep, 61 Dixie. John Moss is a homer. These floaty balls up to Antonio, though, are always going to be gobbled up by Slabhead and Fred. Hammer 1975. Couple of 50-50s always going to go to Man United and always gone that way so far. It's an early sign of intent from Moss. Hammer 1975. Would like to see us get into the box a bit more quickly when we're high up the pitch. I think their defenders could be suspect under severe Antonio and Bowen pressure. Peaches. Lanzini looks well off it today and Cresswell too. Hammerell. Our fullbacks have been absolutely awful so far. And they need to sort themselves out sharpish. Kit the car backing up the floaty cross thing. Why are we playing these floaty balls up to Antonio, who, even when he does win it, there's no one near him.
Yep.
And he's not even winning them. They're doubled up on him.
Mm-hmm.
Kit the car again. I think we're set up okay. We're nullifying their threat, but we're just too sloppy and not counter-attacking well. Junko partner. This is a bit more positive. This is one hell of a battle, and we're battling all right at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Pete 647580. Rice is a different class to anyone else on that pitch. And again, he backs it up with, I'm quite liking the way we're letting him bring out their frustration to the boil, which is, I think we touched on earlier.
Yeah.
Discontent. We let that simmer. We soak that up. We make them kind of frustrate them. And we win the 2 goals to get my 2-0 win in the second half. And Hammer Man 11 has just put a comment. Maguire's been able to walk through his return match. Now, I've just on my stream, which I found, you've just done a few sections on Harry Maguire highlighting his positioning and some of his tackling. I didn't think he'd done a lot, but there's been some really telling contributions, and it kind of belies the fact that I was a bit critical of him beforehand, but he's an archetypal English defender, and he's done incredibly well today, to be honest.
Yeah.
We're not playing to our strengths. We're not counter-attacking properly. We're playing the wrong kind of tactics when we do get the ball into threatening areas. So, Forum kind of backs all that up. And I think the fullbacks are committing criticism. John Moss definitely comes in for criticism. Another comment here about the fullbacks. Hammer 1975. I prefer Fredericks first off the bench to use his pace, maybe at right midfield, and move Bowen closer to Antonio. And last one, Bubbles Fortuna has put, the referee needs to book Ronaldo. He's diving, cheating at chanting. It's pathetic that English referees are so star-struck he gets away with it.
Yep. Yeah, it's a fair point, that last one, isn't it, Rio? I mean, that is the point, isn't it? Until somebody takes action and says, look, son, enough's enough. We're not having this anymore. He's going to carry on doing it. You know, he's essentially given carte blanche to carry on regardless. If the officials, you know, just ignore it. And it's quite clear. We saw it in the home game, didn't we? Where there was that terrible dive where he, to his credit, I suppose you could say, he timed it really well and waited for what he thought was a challenge to come in and then threw himself to the ground. But he does it so often, and it's just horrible to watch. And it's such a shame, isn't it, that a player so immensely talented, same with Salah at Liverpool, fantastic footballers. Why do they do it? Why do they feel the necessity to cheat and try and prosper, you know, in that fashion? It doesn't make sense to me. I guess it's a generational thing, but it's so sad, isn't it? I find it, you know, and the other thing, of course, is the kids. You know, we talk about the kids who watch what they do, and you know, I've seen it in grassroots on a Sunday morning, kids cheating and diving. I'm not saying it's all down to Cristiano Ronaldo, but this is it. They watch their idols, and they. I mean, my son sometimes he's playing FIFA in the front room, and he's throwing himself all over the ground, pretending like to win penalties and stuff like that. You know, I mean, it's madness, isn't it? It's such a shame.
It's tantamount that his legacy will be us three are sitting here, not marveling at the fact we're watching Ronaldo, maybe for the last time, because if he does depart these shores through his frustration, we're not marveling at the skills, but we've seen one of the greatest players up against our team again. Mm-hmm. We're sitting there bemoaning the fact that he spent virtually his entire career behaving like a spoilt brat.
Yeah.
You know? And his legacy isn't going to be I scored X amount of goals at a certain ratio, I did this, I did that. Most people I know say exactly the same as us.
Yep.
He's a great player, but you ain't going to remember him for all the skillful aspects of his game. You're going to remember him for the petulance.
Yep, absolutely right. And it's such a shame. But anyway, I guess at 37, he's not going to change now, is he? So that's you know, that's what you're going to get. Let's have a quick talk about West Ham. Sorry, Dale, did you want to come in there on that?
Yeah, he's just not likable, is he? There's just something about him that makes your skin crawl, really.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I like that. Hard to argue. No, he's not a likable character. There's not a lot, you know. You don't see a player that looks like they're enjoying their football. I would imagine that at that stage in his career, you should be, you know, making the most of it because you're not going to be playing for that much longer. But anyway, let's come back to West Ham in the first half. I want to talk about the defence, specifically the central defence, an area of great concern for us recently. Issa Diop back on the bench today because Kurt Zuma's back in the first team. But for me, I've got to say, out of the two centre halves that are on display today, I thought Craig Dawson had a really good first half, Rio. There was an early error, wasn't there, where he gave the ball away to Fernandes, could have cost us, but fortunately, you know, Thomas Souček did really well to get back and cover Greenwood's attack. But after that, Dawson, I think, has been imperious of 4 or 5 good headers, interceptions. What do you make of that pairing today?
I mean, if you're going to be hypercritical, as you said, that earlier area, and he has it in him every single game, there's one mistake at least. You know, we could have slaughtered him, but he has been, as I'm pointing out about Maguire from Manchester United, he's done exactly the same for us.
Yeah,
he's been an archetypal English centre half. He's put his foot in where needed. He's made the interceptions where needed. He's got kind of composed. And you've got to say that what I've seen over the last couple of weeks watching us, both Craig Dawson and Issa Diop do not trust each other. And I think the longer that partnership went on, the more calamitous it became because that distrust came more and more to the fore.
Yeah.
And I think last week was the culmination of it. It couldn't continue. Zuma stepped in. I think he's had a decent game so far. He's barely put a foot wrong. And he automatically makes his partner look more and more comfortable. And that's what Craig Dawson needs. He needs a reassuring partner with him, because it covers up these deficiencies a little bit, and he has more trust in that particular central defensive partner.
Yeah,
and as a unit, it just works so much better.
Yeah, let's. I've just seen Hobo's just put a post. I've been. I don't know why that's been held for review, but he says, going back to what we were just talking about, gentlemen, says that Ronaldo is unlikable with a hideously long neck. Can't say that's something I'd spotted before, Nick, but there you go.
Look,
his giraffe-esque qualities coming to the fore for Hobo.
He probably is. Going back to Dawson, though.
Yeah,
I think it's a shame that we got him when we did.
Right.
The reason being is he's like he very much reminds me of like one of our cult heroes in James Collins. A no-nonsense, reliable defender. And if he'd spent his career here, we'd be sad to see him go. Now, obviously, he's only going to be spending, 3-4 years tops with us. And he'll just be another one that's come through the revolving doors of players who haven't really, I wouldn't say not made an impact, because he's done a good job.
Yep.
But I suppose he'll be like, in a way, Valon Barami, whose name popped up on the forum. One that, when he was here, done a reasonable job, but he's gone, and a few years down the line, you basically forgot about him until somebody mentioned him. But if he'd had his career here, he'd be the English Ginge. He reminds me of him. And I remember your thread you started a few years ago about Ginge. I can't remember what it was. What the title was, something about his daily wicket that he made in the game.
That's right. Yeah, I remember. Yep.
And that's Dawson. You know what you're going to get with him. You know you're going to get a wicket once a match at least with him. But other than that, he's pretty dependable. But depending on who he's got next to him, because he can't do the job of two defenders when you've got somebody like Diop playing next to him, because he's all over the place. But when he's got someone like Bonner or Zuma next to him, he knows his place, because he's, as Rio said, you can rely on who's next to him. And that's when he comes into his own. And I'm going to be quite sad to see him go, because he's part of a dying breed. Just throw your body at it, stick your neck on the line, and if you get one in the nuts, it doesn't matter. You just brush it off and start again. Because can you imagine someone like Maguire, or who quite rightly is, I think Maguire's a very good defender. I don't think he's suited to Man United. I'd have him in our back line tomorrow. He, to me, is a very, very much of a West Ham type of defender, personally. But he's certainly only 80 million quid worth.
No, I mean, I was a big advocate of us going for him. It was a Hull, wasn't it? He came from. Yeah. Before he went to Leicester, I thought that would have been 20 million well spent. But anyway, we're back underway. West Ham breaking on the left-hand side. Lanzini's put a cross in, and it's headed clear. That's probably the closest West Ham have come to Manchester United's goal in the entire game, inside the first minute of the second half. But it's cleared out, and West Ham will look to build again. West Ham appear to be starting the second half in much the same fashion as we began the first, sort of on top, but slowly fell away after that, and Manchester United have a throw on, I think. Anyway, I've got to say, I rate Maguire. I really thought he was a good player. I just wondered if this perhaps wasn't the right move for him at that particular time in his career. David O'Rourke says Craig Dawson's the best 3 million we have spent in the last 5 years. For one Haller, you could buy 15 Dawsons. That'd be an interesting team, wouldn't it? 11 Dawsons on the pitch and 4 on the bench. Not much variety, I guess, but that's a good point, though, in terms of just. I think it goes to highlight the ridiculous nature of transfer fees, doesn't it, Rio? In terms of what you can get for your money. Yeah,
exactly. Convex to that as well. You've got to put. You can get 20 odd Craig Dawsons for one Harry Maguire, and to be honest, Harry Maguire is slightly more cultured. But they both do a very similar job. Maguire is a decent defender. I ain't going to deny it. I completely agree with you two. He's just tarnished by the team he joined for me. And his antics off the pitch haven't helped.
Yeah. So I guess that's the thing, though, isn't it? When you're, what is technically one of the biggest clubs in the world, everything you do is highlighted. That's the issue. Manchester United have the ball. dangerous this for West Ham. It's on the byline, pulled back across. Kurt Zouma does really, really well as the ball is played back from the touchline into the 6-yard box. The whistle has been blown. Not quite sure what that's for. Cristiano Ronaldo was involved for Manchester United. It's actually an offside spotted by the linesman again. But regardless, we just saw the ball. Yeah, it's no question it was offside. But nonetheless, it's a fantastic challenge. It was Telles on the left-hand side. Kurt Zouma wasn't to know that, Nick, when he came across and made that brilliant tackle on Ronaldo to prevent what would have been a goal-scoring opportunity.
No, I've just seen it. That was a good challenge there. But, yeah, clearly offside. Right call by the linesman. So, and the way it goes again, the ball's just gone back, on my stream at least, ball's back to Man U, and back they come at us.
This is dangerous. Ronaldo's inside the box. He's poised. Ronaldo's got in the box. He's tried to flick the ball back to another player, and West Ham have played it back to Alphonse Areola, who's been forced to just kick it almost out to touch, having been put under the pressure in his own 6-yard box by a Manchester United player. But anyway, it's not clear properly, and it's that man Maguire with the ball on the halfway line. Can he find a teammate? Yes, he does this time. And Manchester United looking to build on the left-hand side.
I think we're actually evens on the stream here now. I'm 48-55 here.
Well, this is a chance. This is a chance. Oh, and there's the first save of the match. Sorry, Nick, for coming in there. But Alphonse Areola forced to make a save. We've had a shot on target, gentlemen, at last. I think it was Fred who had the ball. Let's have a look again. The ball is played in. It's actually Declan Rice had his pocket picked on the edge of the box there by Fred. I think it was a little bit fortuitous. Not sure he knew a lot about it, but struck towards the left-hand side of goal, and Alphonse Areola did well to push it out for a corner. Here's the corner coming into the box, headed out by, yes, it's Craig Dawson. No, it's not. It's Thomas Souček. West Ham now. Can we counter? Chance for a break. Pablo Fornals on the ball. Antonio hurtling down the left-hand side. Fornals plays it in front of him. Antonio with the ball, 35 yards from goal, out on the left. Alanga holding him off. Oh dear. And Antonio's trying to put a cross in, and it's just landed on the top of Manchester United's net, Rio.
Yeah,
so probably more excitement and action in that 60 seconds than we saw in the entire first half, chaps.
Yeah, I think Antonio then was channeling his inner Masuaku, I think, and it never quite came off. It was quite horrendous.
Good save, though, from Areola, Nick. Good stuff.
It was pretty routine, to be fair.
Nice height, yeah.
But it was nice height for him, and easy enough really just to put it around the bar. But disappointed if he hadn't made the save there. Yeah,
true. But Rio, I suppose, good for a goalie to get that, first save under their belt in the game. It'll give him a bit of confidence anyway, if nothing else.
Yeah, absolutely. Everything he's been asked to do today, he's done with aplomb. And 50 minutes into a Premier League game against one of the top 6, and he's done that. Fine, brilliant. Gets him back in the game, involved. Again, we've countered really well until the final ball. Now, this is where we're lacking today. We've got the opportunities, we've had the chances. We're just not executing that final passage of play to the extent we should do, because we should be up here.
Yeah,
we should. It's just a bit, man. As you say, in the final third, we've got no creativity. None at all. Long ball out to Antonio, and he runs, and more often than not, he will get a ball in where somebody will get their head on it or get a boot on it. But more often than not, unless he's shooting at the goal directly from 6 yards out, it's going to go skywards or wayward.
Now here's a chance for West Ham. The ball played to the edge of the box. Can Fornals get a shot away? It's blocked. West Ham still got the ball. But
too long.
It comes to nothing. Too much, too little.
Should have just hit it. Took too long. Tried to do fancy stuff without levering it. Put your laces through that, then make the keeper save it.
Anyway, Rio, the game's beginning to open up now inside the first 6 minutes of the second half.
Yeah, 45 minutes of turgid, nondescript football. We've got a game in our hands now. And to be honest, I'm still confident. They've not really offered that much. That one chance apart, what have they really done to try and damage us and really threaten us?
I've just seen that challenge on Bowen from Maguire where he's gone to shove Bowen right in the back.
Yeah.
Bowen, the unit, has just stood still and Maguire's just bounced off him. That's the highlight of the game for me so far.
Good chance there, Nick, for West Ham to do something. But, it's the first time we've really got behind their back four this afternoon.
Yeah, and his chances are at a premium. We don't need to be trying to do the fancy Dan stuff. He had the chance. You could clearly see that there was an open shot there, and he should have just stuck his laces through it. There was other players in the box as well. If the keeper can't keep hold of it, if he doesn't score, that is, there's a chance of a rebound. But then he tried to dribble it in the box, and it came to nothing, which was on the frustrating side. Let's say.
But on the bright side, we have our first corner of the afternoon. Kurt Zuma making his way towards the opposition penalty box. Can we do something? Of course, there's a little statistic I'm sure I've seen before about West Ham's efficiency in the set piece area, especially from corners. So let's see if we can profit once again. Aaron Cresswell is going to produce an outswinger here. Declan Rice in the box. Kurt Zuma in there. Thomas Souček in there. The big men. Here it comes. Cross delivered to the near post. It comes out to Bowen now. Can Bowen get a shot away? Bowen shoots. Oh, and it's into the side netting. But it's opening up, Rio. The game's definitely beginning to open up.
Yeah, there's a very nice passage of play leading us to that corner as well. Nice little interception, I think, from Cresswell. We worked it really well down the side, left-hand side, to force the corner. I've just seen the Bowen chance.
Did that take a deflection?
Oh, that's why I'm just thinking. You're going to see the replay now. I don't know. But of all the players you wanted to fall to, no deflection here. But very good chance. That probably our clearest cut chance of the game. We're on the ascendancy here. We're back on the attack again down left-hand side. I'm probably about 30 seconds behind you.
Yeah, we're now out over on the right. I've got such a tiny little stream that I can't see who's actually on the ball. That was Soufal, just being tackled by one of theirs, I think.
But it's a notable that we're playing the ball a lot more and we kept possession. We're working it nicely and we look a lot more threatening. Yep. It was all kick and rush earlier in the game and it was coming to nothing. Bit of composure is speaking volumes for me.
West Ham have... Oh, that's unbelievable. Oh, well, we were talking in the first half about the 50-50s that went Manchester United's way. There's one that's an absolute... It's not even a 50-50. It's more like a 90-10. Vladimir Soufal's been tackled and the ball's gone out of touch by Elanga. Elanga making the challenge. It's clearly a West Ham throw-in, but the linesman has waited a second or two, saw Elanga fall over and decided to give Manchester United the throw-in. Yeah, yet another one of those 50-50s. It's just not falling to us at the moment. But we're going to, I guess, as we said, Nick, you're going to have to get used to that. But anyway, here's Bowen on the right side. West Ham win the corner. Oh, and Bowen's brought down. And Maguire, now that's interesting. I'm not sure how much contact Maguire got on Bowen there. Bowen's, he's hurt. He's definitely hurt. And so John Moss is bringing the book out. The first yellow card of the day. He's going to be handed to Harry Maguire for that foul on Bowen. Maguire initially, let's have a look. Yeah, no, it's a foul. It's a. Now I think Bowen, looking at that, Nick, I'm not sure Bowen really had control of the ball, but he's definitely been nicked by Maguire, and I guess in this day and age, that's a pretty much cast iron yellow card.
He's been nipped by him, but he's made a meal of it.
That's what I thought.
His shin when he wasn't caught on the shin, it was just on the bottom. I think it was the bottom of his boot. And he's rolling about like he's been shot. So we won't be having too much more of that, please, Jared. We don't do that at West Ham, mate.
After what happened to Soufal just before that, I'd say do it even more, Jared, because that was shocking.
Well, yes, it was.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
Two wrongs don't make a right.
Aaron Cresswell with the free kick. This one's going to be an in-swinger because it's coming from the other side, from the West Ham's right. Let's see what happens here. Here he goes, lining up. In comes the free kick. It's into the... Oh, but it's poor yet again, and it's easily clear, but only as far as Pablo Fornals, who I've absolutely no idea. I've no... Nick, talk us through that. What was it? Across a shot? No,
I've got absolutely no idea what he was trying to do. And now they're breaking at speed as a consequence of it down our left. Now they played it centrally to Ronaldo, and we've now given away a corner. So what should have been something quite promising to us after the shank by Fornals has now led to a corner from them on our...
I like that. I like that. It was a shank, wasn't it? Definitely a shank of huge proportions. I'm still not quite sure what he was trying to do, but anyway, the long shot of that is that Manchester United have a free kick. Fernandes is going to deliver it. It's another outswinger, and it's a chance. It's Varane who's got on the end of it, come to the near post and got a glancing header, and it's just narrowly over the crossbar. Now, I'm just trying to see how Fornals has just let him run. Fornals, who was initially marking, just stood still and let him make the run. That's pretty poor defending from our midfielder there, and that was free header and should have done better. Rio.
Yeah, I'm just seeing it now. I'm Pablo's biggest fan, but that last 60, 90 seconds of play is not exactly ingratiated him to the rest of the support and deflected any kind of criticism that might come his way.
I mean, that shank of Fornals would have gone out if it wasn't for the fact it hit a satellite and came back down again.
Yeah, the drone from Brentford obviously flew over.
It's been spotted in Manchester. The home side look like they're about to make a substitution. There's movement on the bench. We'll bring you more of that when we get that. I couldn't quite see who it was who's about to be coming on, but they have the ball anyway on the halfway line. 59 minutes gone. Manchester United nil, West Ham United. Real, who was that?
I'm sure it's Rashford.
Rashford, yeah. Thank you. Ball's bouncing around just on the edge of West Ham's box. Pablo Fornals gives it away 30 yards from goal. Once again, Manchester United looking to build. West Ham just a little bit caught at the moment. Ronaldo goes into the box, plays a little, and that just sums up Manchester United's day, really. He's just played a short ball to Dalot, and Dalot's just kicked it straight out into touch for a goal kick for West Ham, which kind of sums up their day. 2/3 of the way through this game now, DL. You're David Moyes. Are you thinking about making changes, or are you going to just sit there for the next 5-10 minutes and see what happens?
I'd be looking at making a change. Lanzini has been pretty quiet, and they're starting to come through us a little bit more when they have got the ball. Maybe controversially, perhaps, I'd hook Lanzini and I'd stick Mark Noble on.
Okay.
He's get some old legs. He's good in the big games.
West Ham substitutes, of course, Diop, Fredericks, Masuaku, Johnson. In the midfield area, you got Kroll and Noble, and then attacking options are really limited to Vlasic and Yarmolenko these days. And I say Yarmolenko is an attacking option lightly. Going back to what Rio was saying earlier in the game, just over an hour, Manchester United attacking on the right-hand side. Ronaldo with the ball, looks to do a step over. His cross has beaten Cresswell. It's a chance on the far side. The ball falls to number 36, who is Alanga, who tries an effort from about 14, 15 yards out, but probably had time really to bring that down and do a little better, but coming in completely unmarked. And half chance, I guess you could say, Nick, for Man United, that one.
Yeah, we're looking a bit ropey at the back again. They're just coming through us. But for trying to go for the extravagant shooting here, and that could quite easily have been 1-0. I'm starting to get the jitters. The balance of the game seems to have, since that shank, it seems to have turned again back in Man United's favour.
Yeah.
I'm feeling a little bit uncomfortable. And it's not wind.
Yeah, I suppose you could say West Ham's performance best described as a load of old shank so far, given what we've seen. But Kurt Zouma, anyway, hooks the ball out into touch, and Manchester United have the ball again. They're not taking any time over these throw-ins. But now, is this a change coming up? John Moss has, it looks like the change is going to be made. Who's coming off? Number 10 is, sorry, that can't be number 10 because there isn't number 10 on. Is that... trying to see who that's coming off. Ilanga, number 36. Where did I get 10 from? Doesn't look anything like 10. Rashford, Rio, someone we need to be concerned about. He sort of has his moments, but not really hit the heights this year that he's previously achieved, has he?
In recent weeks, he's looked at an absolute appalling player who's got a weight of the world on his shoulders. For me, it's a bit much of a like-for-like kind of substitution. Just getting a slightly more experienced head on the pitch. Do you know anything you just mentioned there? The fact that we look kind of...
Go on.
Oh, sorry. I thought we'd scored, and I was behind the stream.
No, I was just Michael Antonio just kicked the ball out into touch. I was just a sigh of frustration. My apologies.
No, I was having kittens. I thought we'd 1-0 down. But there you go. No, you said our performance has been largely rhyming slang for shank, as you described. Yeah. You know, the thing is, we was in the ascendancy. We'd asking a lot of questions. We was causing them problems.
Yep.
We've just handed initiative to Manchester United, and no, we are now struggling a little bit.
Yeah.
Also, from someone who I very rarely say a lot. When I do these streams, I probably talk more than I've ever done in my life. It comes very unnatural to me. And when you run through the West Ham bench, players who could come on, you could have saved yourself 5 or 6 seconds there by going Masuaku and Yarmolenko. Because, that's our default substitutions. We very rarely revert to anyone else.
Yep.
For me, I'd bring Alex Crowell on. I don't understand why he's been so very rarely utilised, particularly when the last few weeks, Souček's been out. We've been crying out for an extra body in midfield.
Yeah.
I think we just need his common influence, like Lenz. I think Lenz's just been booked, has he?
I didn't see that. You could be right.
I'm not sure, but I thought I saw a car come out. Okay. But he hasn't had the greatest of games. Fornals has had a terrible 5 minutes. Now, if you're going to hook someone, bring on the common influence of Alex Crowell to help bring the more attacking players into the game a little bit more. And this is something the guys touched on, like Chris and Callum and in the podcast, who do an excellent job in analysing games, things like that, and utilising play, things like that. They've touched upon this, and they're absolutely spot on. Alex Crowell is so woefully underused by us. It's criminal.
Why is that? Why is he underused?
I think either Moyes doesn't rate him or trust him, but every time I think he's played for us, I don't think I've seen him have a bad game. He got some criticism after the Zagreb one, but I thought he was all right that night. We was all awful. They had a lot of kids on the pitch. He didn't do anyone else, worse than anyone else. I thought he did a really good job.
And of course, the thing about Alex Crowell is he's one of those players that's tasted victory at Old Trafford already this season. Played in the League Cup game earlier in the year.
Yeah.
Did you think it was Lanzini that got the booking? Did I hear you say?
I thought in my midst the conversation, which I don't really do.
It was Rice that got booked.
Oh, Rice. Okay.
Rice, yeah.
Yeah. Cal on the live chat just pointed out it was Declan Rice. So thank you, Cal, for clearing that up while we were
scrappy beards galore. I can't tell the difference.
Yeah, he's had a few bookings, hasn't he? Nick, this season, Declan Rice. I mean, of course, he had that suspension against Watford. Well, Hagen is a chance for Manchester United. Played into the box, deflection off Zuma, but comes to nothing. And West Ham a chance to counter. Now, Jarrod Bowen showing great strength, gets away from Fernandes. This is a good chance for West Ham. Can he find the right ball? There's no options on for him though at the moment. Still going Bowen, running into a red wall though in the end.
And Bowen almost
no options. No options at all.
Unbelievable.
I mean, I think that's
it was the lack of options that done us.
Yeah, Michael Antonio not really making a very good run, sort of creating space. Ideally, in those situations, the striker wanted to pull away and create an opening for Bowen if he's going through, but just sort of not really, making the right run at all. But anyway, here's Ronaldo with the ball for Manchester United on the left-hand side, plays a short ball in to Rashford. Great tackle. Oh, that's a fantastic
That was a good tackle.
From Craig Dawson as Rashford looked to pull the trigger. Nick.
Yeah, Rashford, by the way, has scored 4 goals against us in the past. So he quite clearly likes playing against us. So I wouldn't be saying he's crapping off form at the moment, because he's one of those. He's quietly crept up as one of those that enjoys scoring against us.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to keep my mouth shut about him.
All right. One to watch then. On that Jarrod Bowen run, though, Rio, fantastic stuff, but just no one there, no support.
Yeah, lacking that final option in the final third again. But yeah, you've got to give him credit for what he did there. 34 yards, surging run. He looks our biggest threat. Mikel hasn't really done a lot today. He's been virtually anonymous. So, and you need that kind of focal, muscly figure up front, particularly against them two.
Harry Maguire has just been penalised for another foul And that, I mean, Harry's got now VAR should be looking at this, I think, because Maguire has been penalised for a foul on Jarrod Bowen as Bowen was running through. He's actually stamped on the top of his foot. And now, if that's not a yellow card, I'm not quite sure what is. But of course, VAR is not going to intervene for a yellow card decision. But West Ham do have a free kick anyway, according to the lines on the pitch. That's exactly 30 yards from goal. And we'll see what comes of this. Nick, what did you make of that?
Yeah, that should have been another booking. It was clumsy. Not sure it was deliberate, but nonetheless, it was a stamp on Bowen's foot as he was breaking through there. He's lucky to still be on the pitch, is Maguire. But the free kick has come to absolutely nothing. He's now back to us on the halfway line. Long ball over to the left, nobody there, and it's gone straight out of play.
One thing that is emerging from this second half, Rio, is just sort of what a valuable player to West Ham United Jarrod Bowen is. I mean, he's looked very, very lively, just not really had any support, having to do it all himself out there at the moment.
Yeah, he's playing a pretty much lone throw up there. No support from the attacking midfielders. Definitely no support from Antonio. For a player who, like, a year ago was the first person we talked about this time every game, you would never even contemplate taking Jarrod off at the moment,
Yeah.
I think he's made one poor decision in the entire season. That was the final moment of last weekend.
Mm-hmm.
The decision to try and chest it rather than head it. Apart from that, he's probably been, for me, he's been our player of the season.
Yeah, I think that was the most unnecessary apology I've ever seen, that when he came out on social media afterwards and said sorry for not heading the ball. I mean, this player's been absolutely exceptional for West Ham, but no need to do it anyway. But West Ham had the ball again outside the box. It's Dawson heads it into the box. Bowen can't get on the end of it. West Ham don't want to lose the ball here because both centre-halves are at the opposite end of the pitch. But Declan Rice has the ball, 30 yards from goal, plays it out left. Aaron Cresswell, can we get a cross in, Cressy? Oh, and it's just poor, and it's over the top of the goal, and I don't think there's any deflection. Sorry, it's Fornals, I think.
Yeah,
we put the cross in, but poor again, Nick. And this is Ryan Fredericks is just about to come on for West Ham, by the way, and he's going to be replacing Soufal. So presumably there's an issue there. Maybe Soufal not 100% still. Dio, after his recent bout of COVID.
He's not. Again, he's not had the best games, but maybe it could be more to do with the fact that I don't know who they've got playing on their left, but he's quite a nippy little bugger. And he's been quite dangerous all game. So maybe Frederick's pace and the fact he can occasionally cross a ball. And he's don't forget, who was it he scored the winner against that time when he came on as a sub? Can't remember. I've been asleep since. But he has got a goal in him, which is more than you can say for Soufal. I think it's more to do with the fact, I think, not just the defensive side as well as the attacking side. So fresh legs. I wouldn't want a fit Fredericks running at me. He's a rapid little bugger.
Yeah, I'm a fan. I think we're all fans of him. But surprised to see that one, Rio. Fredericks, come on.
I am actually. I thought Dave would kind of revert to type and play out, not necessarily for the draw, but kind of keep it tight at the back. Make a change up front somewhere in midfield. Ryan coming on, he doesn't necessarily seem to trust him an awful lot. So this is a big statement for David Moyes.
Yeah, it certainly is. You might have thought that Johnson would have been the player to come in that scenario, but not so. Fredericks it is. We are still waiting for our first goal in this clash between the two Uniteds at Old Trafford. 71 and a half minutes gone. Manchester 0, West Ham 0. The home side with the ball on the halfway line, but a couple of changes each. Rashford on for Elanga after 62 minutes. Fredericks on for West Ham, replacing Soufal just a few seconds ago. Manchester United, I think, thinking about making another change fairly soon, but they've got the ball on the right-hand side. It's Ronaldo running at Cresswell, plays the ball back. It's hooked into the box, and that's a kick in the head. Now, what is Ronaldo complaining about here? Okay, so Dawson's gone down and headed the ball. Ronaldo's kicked him in the head. And instead of checking, instead of checking to see if the player's okay, Nick, Ronaldo's more worried about the fact that he's been given a free kick against. He's just kicked someone in the head. Yeah, all he's worried about is remonstrating with the referee. I don't want to go into character assassination here, but
it sounds a bit like Anchor There's no, he's an awful, vile man. And I'll see what they mean about the neck.
Yeah. The neck is sticking out more and more, if you pardon the pun. It is sticking out more and more. It's now someone's mentioned it.
Very good observation there.
Of all the years, and it's only just ever been brought up.
Yeah.
It's a bit
where are we
of
getting the sound? Oh, is that me? Oh, I do apologise. It's me. I was just going to say, where are we getting the audio from? And it's actually my stream. Apologies, everybody, for that. Ken Townley, yes, I think we can show that one. That's not offensive language. We can let that one pass the censorship of YouTube. But Steve says that's why we love Dawson. He's had a good game today. I think after that one error, I think it's been really good. It's been solid at the back, and it's been good to see those two not really give any quarter, isn't it, Nick? So far, him and Zuma. Zuma's had a really good game so far. First game back, you might expect him to be a little bit rusty, but been solid out there this afternoon.
He has. He's but that's what £30 million gets you when you buy a defender, I guess. It's the quality, even if he's not fully fit. He's just one. He's just that level above anyone else that we've got at the moment, and I include Bonner in that as well. So it's to be expected. I don't think it's too much of a surprise, to be honest. What I am quite surprised at is seeing just how rusty Cresswell is still looking. He's not had the greatest games from the left there. A lot of his balls in haven't had the quality that they have. But hopefully next week or the week after, he'll be back to his old self, because we did miss him.
Yeah,
we've missed his balls as well. His balls.
Yeah, certainly has.
There we go. Coleman balls. We've missed his balls into the box, but the quality ain't there on him at the moment. So.
Yeah, absolutely right. Absolutely right. We've just seen Tellez have a wild strike. I think it's fair to say, from about 20 yards. Bit of frustration there. But great stuff from West Ham. Frustrated the home side now. That's what you want to see, isn't it, Rio? Really, your opponent's just shooting from anywhere, and looking for. Well, we just said, hang on, here's a chance. Oh, Fredericks has put the ball in. It's been headed clear, but West Ham keep the ball. Lanzini plays it short to Rice. Rice out on the left to Fornals. Fornals has got Cresswell outside him if he needs him. Doesn't use him. Plays it through the lines to Antonio instead. Antonio up against Varane, and it's got to be that's got to be a West Ham throw. Oh, it's happened. It's happened again. I don't know if that was played off Antonio. It looked like a cast iron West Ham throw to me, that one, DL. But Antonio, I don't think, was even remonstrating with the referee. So perhaps I got that wrong.
I didn't see it because I clicked my mouse and got one of those bloody pop-ups come up, and I was trying to close it. So,
well, anyway, it's another one that hasn't gone away. But West Ham regained possession. Declan Rice plays it short to Fornals. Fornals inside to Lanzini. West Ham now back on the halfway line and look to build again. That's a short pass, and Dawson's done well. Ronaldo was on it in a flash. That could have been dangerous.
That could have been a bit naughty there, couldn't it?
Yeah,
it's just the sloppiness. When we've been lucky that Man United have been so crap that they've not been able to capitalise on it. I wonder if if they played like that, if they've been playing these sloppy passes. I mean, the one that sticks in my mind was the back pass to Areola with their bloke in the 6-yard box. So he did well to clear out. We could do with a bit of that up front, but then I suppose there's nobody within at the moment. Looking at it, there's nobody within 30 yards of the goal anyway, so it's kind of immaterial for us.
Well, we're looking to break into the box now. Lanzini, 30 yards to goal, plays it square to Declan Rice. Rice was going to play it out on the left, I think, to Cresswell. Indeed, he does. Cresswell. Now, can we get a cross in? No, plays it short to Fornals instead. Back to Cresswell. Looks up for options. Plays it into the box. Now, Antonio's got the wrong side of his marker for the first time. Can he play it short? There's an option on there if you can find him. Antonio shoots.
Straight at
it's
the
on
8.
target, but it's the wrong option, Nick. It's the wrong option.
It was.
Souček was inside.
Yep. He was there. He's gone for the glory, and it's straight down the neck of De Gea. But at least the stats are going to read now. We've had a shot on target, so every cloud.
Yeah, he was offside for what it's worth. Had it.
Okay, so we haven't even got a shot on target.
But it's not been given, so I guess that still counts as a shot on target, right? If it's not been called up, technically that will go down.
Yes, because the way of stopping play.
Yeah. So anyway, we're getting close to squeaky bum time. 77.5 minutes gone. Still waiting for our first goal of the afternoon. Are we going to get one? Rio, we said at the start a point wouldn't be the. Well, hang on. This is a chance for Manchester United, and Craig Dawson tidies up again, but not very well. Ronaldo has a shot, and that. It's not Ronaldo, it's Fernandes, sorry. And it's poor. It's over the bar, and West Ham can breathe again. We said earlier in the game, Rio, didn't we, that a point might not be the worst result for, or a draw might not be the worst result for West Ham here this afternoon. You still happy with that, or do you think, given the way Manchester United play, we should perhaps have done a bit better?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we should have done better, but going to Old Trafford. Time and history dictates that going to Old Trafford and getting a point is a good result. So yeah. I am not. If we come out with a draw here, I will not be disappointed.
No,
we could have done better, but we haven't been at the races in the final thirds. But we have nullified them completely. They barely had a really good chance. So I am not going to knock his performance in any way or manner.
Varane's down on the floor.
Yeah, I think somebody shot him.
Yeah, well, it's Antonio. I'm just trying to have a look at the replay. Antonio, well, he's just gone over Antonio. Antonio's just stood still, and Varane's gone over the top and hurt himself. So no question of any foul, yellow card or free kick against Antonio.
Oh, they'll get a free kick though.
I'll be surprised if they've given it, because Antonio's just stood still. He's not impeded the player in any way. But anyway, Fernandes is being. I suppose you might. Oh, I just seen the replay. I suppose there's, the referee might say he stepped back into him, but anyway, it's a bit harsh if that's so. But nasty one. That's the sort of challenge that leaves you a bit winded, Nick. That one when you fall from 6 foot in the air onto your belly.
He plays for Man United, so is that an acceptable answer?
Well, excuse me, that went down the wrong hole. There's a little bit of a lull in play, while Varane receives treatment. Should we have a quick look at the forums, Rio? Have you got KUMB forum match thread up there?
Yeah, just got a couple of things to bring up. Here we go. Got to find out where she keeps the bloody photos. There we go. I've got it. Don't worry. I'm more ahead of the ball than usual. Yeah, Bubbles Fortuna again has put Bubbles has been Fornells has been better than Lanzini, in my opinion. This game could go either way, but at the same time, neither side looks like really scoring. How Ronaldo has been booked yet, I'll never know. He's constantly berating the referee and should make the card. Pete 647580. We're defending really well. They keep taking pot shots from outside the area. That's what you want. Bowling boy, Antonio's having an absolute nightmare. That touch is either a pass or to the Manx or a throw in every single time. Pete 64758. Yeah, again, I know Dawson gets slated on here, but I really like the bloke, and he's a proper, honest defender.
Yeah.
Sendo, when we manage to bring the ball forward more than two passes and string more than two passes together, we look dangerous. Clearly pressing hard and fast, Leeds style, but they're not making it easy. But we're still giving the ball cheaply too many times. Lanzini, Fornells and Bummy all need to do a lot more. The game is there for the taking. And last of all, Mr. Supercase, but both fullbacks have been incredibly poor. This is before, obviously, Super took off. I'll bring on either Vlasic or Lanzini. At least they get in amongst it. Either that, I'll bring on Fredericks for Lanzini and go three at the back and try and use his pace to create some space for Cresswell to cross as a spare centre-back.
We've just seen, thank you, Rio. We've just seen Fernandes pretend to be fouled in the penalty box. Not sure it was the dive. I think he was caught by Fredericks. Just a natural coming together, but nothing given. And Manchester United have made another substitution. Fred is off, and I think that's Martial coming on for the home side. Greenwood also off. Now, who else is that's gone? Nick, did you catch who that was?
I didn't. I was reading Twitter, seeing if there was anything there that was exciting that we could say, but there isn't. Somebody just complaining about how is that a free kick? So yeah, it looks like they did get the free kick after he decided to jump over Antonio and missed.
Guys on the stream, let us know who else that was that went. Fred's gone. We saw Martial come into play, and Greenwood Sorry, Greenwood's already there. Did Greenwood go off?
Greenwood went off, and
Greenwood went,
yeah.
So it's Greenwood and Fred off. And Martial and someone else on. We didn't see. But anyway, let us know. Manchester United into the box, but clear. But West Ham conceding possession again. John Moss is interested in Manuel Lanzini's appeals for a free kick, and the ball's on the edge of the box. They're going to take another. It's another one of those long-range efforts that is meat and drink, I'd imagine, to West Ham. It's Dalot this time who's taken a punt from some 25 yards out, and it's high and wide over the bar. We're rapidly approaching the final few minutes. Just quickly, a quick look at the scores from elsewhere. There's a couple of interesting score lines. Brentford 1-0 down at home to Wolves. Everton, as we know, lost at home to Aston Villa earlier. Leeds 0, Newcastle 1 at the moment at Ellen Road. Only 10 minutes to go, so that's interesting. Newcastle, of course, only one win under their belt all season so far. Not quite sure who scored that goal, but that would be an important win for Newcastle in the battle to stay in the Premier League this year. This means, of course, that West Ham v Manchester is the only game at the moment, the game between the two Uniteds without a goal in the Premier League. And are we going to get one, Rio, or is this one going to peter out? Give us an 84th minute prediction, if you will.
We're going to win this 1-0.
Like it.
John Joe Shelvey free kick for Newcastle.
A Shelvey free kick. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting stuff. So they're hanging on as things stand. That would move Newcastle to within 7 points of Leeds if they were to win that one. Manchester United fans looking very, very unhappy at the moment with their team's performance, but still time to go. We've seen it so many times, haven't we, gentlemen, over the years at Old Trafford where we've conceded late goals. And there's 6 minutes left in this one. Still goalless, and the Hammers hanging on, given away by Lanzini, giving the ball back, and he plays it straight out to touch. Not good stuff from the Argentinians. Still no further changes from West Ham. Only the one change so far, I believe. Fredericks coming on for Soufal after 77 minutes. Manchester United. Quick look at the stats.
Martial and Cavani came on.
Cavani was who came on. Thank you, Rio. Thank you. So that's 3 substitutions for Manchester United. Anyway, they've got the ball on the left-hand side, plays it into the middle. It's squared out to the right. West Ham just sitting deep. Little 1-2 by Man United, play through the lines, but it's a poor final touch, and Cresswell is able to clear, but he just hooks it away to touch. No effort from West Ham to try and keep hold of the ball and get a foot on the ball. It's just hoiked out into touch. Looks like Moyes' team are just looking for one result now, and that's just to hang on to the point as things stand. 5 minutes to go. There's not going to be an awful lot of added on time.
I was going to say the same thing. Looks like we're trying to hang on for a point here.
Yeah,
I'm still absolutely perplexed where the whole game, nothing really apart from that. What was it? It wasn't even a 10-minute spell, was it? That 5-minute spell we had where Bowen was giving them problems until the Fornell shank, really. And again, we've offered nothing, and yet Moyes, well, mind you, we're now breaking with Antonio coming through the middle. He's now out to, I can't see me, bloody stream's too small. Who's out there? Who was passed to? But on the edge of the box, ball's gone to go in.
Bowen.
And we've got a corner in the 87th minute. So before I go on a rant about a lack of substitutions again, let's see what comes of this.
Yeah, it was Bowen who had the ball. West Ham, it was 4 against 4 at one point. West Ham looking to break quickly. Bowen played in and tried to get a crossover. It's deflected out for this corner, which I'm presuming it's Bowen's going to take it actually now. So it's going to be an in-swinger rather than Cresswell's outswinger. So this is interesting. Declan Rice is in the box, being marked by Cavani. Antonio's on the goalkeeper. The ball comes in. He's heading on. Oh, it's close. It's close. And it's Thomas Souček. I was going to come to Souček a few minutes ago. I wanted to ask you what you felt of his performance today, but been pretty quiet. But he's lost his man there. He's come in and got a glancing header on the corner, gets ahead of Ronaldo, I think it was. And I'm looking at that, Nick, and I'm thinking, Antonio, just stick your foot out, son. Just stick your toe out.
Yeah, but was he not in? I don't know. I'm watching it on such a small window on my screen. I can't really see. It's like about that big. not because my screen's small. It's just the thing. Unless I go full screen, and then I can't see anything else, and the quality's crap at all. It looked like Antonio was. It may from where I'm sitting, so I could be totally wrong. It looked like that he was actually impeded by Ronaldo or whoever it was. I don't know.
Okay.
I took a look at that and thought Antonio should have done better, but then they showed the replay, and Ronaldo was in his way. So, but that's how
close.
We look. I could be wrong.
Closest we've come anyway. 87 minutes. Oh, Rio, you said you think we might be able to snatch it 1-0. I guess that was the chance.
That was it for me. That's probably my most clearest cut chance. Oh, that's just so frustrating, isn't it? As an attacking unit, we haven't really gelled today.
Yeah.
So you're relying on your set pieces, and for it to kind of fail at that kind of moment, yeah, that's a kick in the teeth. That was the chance.
Man United, their dues though. They've not really let us have many set pieces. It's only our second corner. Our free kicks have been way outside the box.
Yep.
So, I don't think when you're they're giving you so little. I know I get that you've got to make the most of every little opportunity you get, but we've just not had them. It's almost that was only our second corner of the game.
Yeah, I think is it a mark of respect that they've defended so well and nullified us rather than
take
the game to us?
I think it is. They're at Old Trafford, and as you say, they've not really taken the game to us. And when they have broke themselves, it's generally come to nothing. One save Ariola's had to make. One save De Hayes made. In a West Ham Man United game. Oh, hang on. Something's going on here. No, it's not. They were in our box, but the ball comes over and it's cleared again by Dawson.
He's offside. He's got to be offside. Oh, well, Ronaldo's, it's Ronaldo was played in, had a shot, struck it low to the right of Areola. It was on target. Areola's got down the side, but I think Ronaldo was offside anyway. It wouldn't have counted. Inside the final minute, if West Ham are to become, if this West Ham team is to become the first West Ham team to ever win twice at Old Trafford in one season, they've got about a minute or two to score, and they're breaking down the left-hand side. Declan Rice on the ball, surging into the box, puts it across. Oh, it's come off the post, I think it's come off the post. Declan Rice has tried to cross the ball. It's taken a deflection. Either De Gea has got down very smartly to tip it round the post, or that's come off the post, or it could be both. Let's have another look. Well, it's so quick. No, I don't think it has. I think De Gea has just got down to push it out for a corner. So anyway, it's all happening here. We're into added on time. 90 minutes and 4 seconds gone. West Ham United have a corner. Aaron Cresswell will send it in for the left-hand side. This is the chance. Can we do it? Come on, West Ham. Let's nick one at the end here. All the big guns go forward. Manchester United back. We haven't been particularly good from set pieces so far, but it's dealt to the near post and punched clear by De Gea, only as far as Cresswell. Cresswell back in possession. Got it on his right foot. Not ideal, but he plays it short inside. West Ham keep the ball. Trying to see who that is. Is that Lanzini? He plays it short for Fredericks. Fredericks opens his legs and bursts down the right-hand side. I'm not quite sure what that was from Fredericks. He's sort of got caught in two minds. I don't know if that was a cross or a shot, but it's easy for De Gea, who's just kicked it straight back to West Ham, and now West Ham have conceded possession. Oh, it's a circus of errors. Rio this afternoon from first to 90th minute, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
Come on.
There's been no cohesive state of play throughout the whole game, has there?
From either side.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. It's been like it's a comedy of errors, and it's just so frustrating that they've played so poorly. We haven't capitalised, but at times we cut our own throats, don't we?
Even Antonio then just by the centre circle gets the ball, chests it down, and completely miskicks it, gives it away. Where's this beast?
Ronaldo has the ball, plays it short, 35 yards from goal inside the final 90 seconds. It's played inside. Now he's got a chance to turn here. Oh, and West Ham for the first time allowed a Manchester United player too much time inside the box, but Kurt Zouma eventually got down. I think it was Martial, the substitute, who was allowed to turn inside the box. The ball played short. Not quite sure what was happening there. Dawson didn't really pick him up first, but that's huge credit to Kurt Zouma back in his first game, the 92nd minute, and he's made a really, really important challenge. I'm not sure Martial's shot was going to go on target anyway, but huge credit to Kurt Zouma to ensure West Ham stay on level terms. We're inside the final of the final minute of added on time. 3 added on, 92 minutes, 10 seconds gone. Still 0-0. West Ham with the ball. This will be a last chance for anyone to score. Fredericks goes bursting down the line as West Ham keep possession. Play it short. It's played out wide, looking for Bowen. Bowen's got the ball. It's a poor touch from Jared Bowen, and that could be West Ham's last chance.
Come up on Twitter, guys.
I've just seen it.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Marshall's into the box. Cavani's played it across, and I think he's offside. Oh, is it? The ball's in the back of the net. Rashford's put it in, but I think he might be offside. Let's have a look. We're hoping now. We're hoping against hope because the ball is in the back of the net. There's 13 seconds of added on time left to go. We're relying on a VAR decision here. It's close. I'm not sure. We'll have to see a replay whether or not he's come from behind. I think he probably has. I don't think we're gonna get this. It looks like West Ham have been beaten in the final seconds of the game. Let's have another look. The first ball's fine. Okay, the ball played in. Now let's have a look. Where's Rashford? Where's Rashford when the ball's played across? Now Cavani. Now I think Cavani's onside. Now I'm not sure. The ball's played forward. Now is Rashford onside? Let's have a look. And there's going to be a check because it's such an important goal.
Cavani doesn't look like he's onside when the ball is played.
I think Cavani's okay. I think he's level. But for me, the question mark is whether Rashford is offside at the far post. Now, I think we're hoping against hope here. It doesn't look like there's any real check going on. This will be disastrous for West Ham if we've lost it at this point of the game. It looks like we have.
It's counted.
We've lost it.
Yeah, it's gone. That's it. It's game over. There'll be no time for a reprieve here for West Ham, and that's incredible. Incredible to lose the game at such a late point. 13 seconds of added on time remaining, and the ball's in the back of that. I don't think West Ham are going to get the chance to even. Yeah, the final whistle's gone. That's it. It's all over. Oh, gentlemen, we've thrown it all away. Such a poor game, and Rashford has scored the winning goal with, as I said, 13 seconds of added on time remaining. The final score has blown at Old Trafford. It's finished. Manchester United 1, West Ham United 0. The substitute Rashford has scored. West Ham have done so well they kept Manchester United at bay for 92 minutes and 47 seconds. No real pressure the Hammers were put under throughout the game. Indeed, we could have stolen it ourselves, and yet we've blown it in the final second. I still can't quite get my head around that, so I'm going to go straight over to the chaps to try and sum up what they've seen there, not just in the final few seconds, but in the afternoon. Nick, I'll come to you first, if I may.
I still think Cavani was offside when that ball was played. There was not much of a VAR check. But then I'm not being funny. If that was us, how long would that VAR check have gone on for? He looked very much offside. They've not shown us the VAR. The Premier League have got the result they wanted anyway. So, yeah, that's a sick nut. We didn't deserve to lose it. We didn't deserve to win it, and neither did they. A draw would have been a fair result. And seeing Ronaldo smiling wants me. I want to punch the screen. No, I think that we've been mugged. That did look very much offside with Cavani, and looking at social media, that seems to be the general consensus as well. That why is VAR not even reviewing it? Cavani is off. That seems to be what the consensus is. So that's me done with football. Effing corruption at its finest. Why has that not been VAR checked? Blah, blah, blah. That seems to be the consensus on social media at the moment. How quick was that VAR check? No replays, and lines shown on the screen like normal. We score, it's checked 100 times from every angle and then taken back to 2 minutes before we score. So, yeah. So that's the bit that I was waiting for, and it happened in the last minute. So, yeah, that's a bit of a kick in the teeth when Cavani was, in my opinion, blatantly offside.
Rio, Manchester United 1, West Ham United 0. Where do you start with that?
I just thought I'd point out that a certain member of our team tonight put in the match for their, I think was it Thursday or Friday, mate? That you didn't watch the game because you knew that a dodgy decision would end up being the order of the day, and it's come to fruition. We didn't, as Nick's just actually summed it up absolutely perfectly.
Yeah,
we didn't deserve to lose that. We didn't deserve to win it, but we've done more than enough to nullify the Manchester United side. We've mentioned that they've paid us far too much respect. But for them to win the game in that manner, in the very last, virtually the last kick of the game, and there's not been a serious VAR check, it just stinks of corruption for me. Because for me, Cavani looked offside. It might be marginal, but it was just a cursory check. It wasn't what we get, the full kind of forensic CSI Stratford full-on inquisition about goals. This is a cursory at best. It's disrespectful in some manners. We didn't deserve that. We don't deserve that one little bit. We didn't deserve to win. Definitely deserve to lose. And to lose in that manner is leaves an incredibly sour taste in the throat. Just a couple of comments initially after the goal. Kit the car just summed up. Hang on a minute there. Cavani's offside. I don't even wait for the VAR out to pipe up and end that match. And Pub was Fortuna. Would VAR found an angle ruled out against us? I definitely think so. And they're both absolutely spot on.
I can't believe it. No, yeah, I said that you were spot on. I said I weren't going to watch it because I know what the result was going to be. And as soon as the opportunity they had, the ball in the back of the net, despite it being offside, weren't even looked at. Not even looked at. And it's...
I've got to say, Nick, I'll be very, very surprised if it wasn't even checked. Because, you know, there's going to be a furore if that was offside and it hadn't been the case. So I've got to say, I thought he looked level to me, Cavani, and well, we'll see. We haven't. The point is, we haven't really seen a proper replay, have we? And I'm sure somebody on Twitter will get the slide rule out and put the picture in place for us. But I mean, at the end of the day, you know, we can complain about that, but wasn't a great West Ham performance, was it? You know, we didn't threaten them enough. We had 1-2 shots on target, maybe a bit better in the second half, but quite often we saw Antonio isolated, or if Antonio wasn't isolated, then Jared Bowen was leading the line on his own. Didn't really look like we wanted it out there to me.
I think we maybe wanted it. We just couldn't do it. Don't take anything away from Man United's defensive performance there. Yeah, we were toothless up front, but to keep Jared Bowen quiet like they did, apart from that little 5 minutes that he had, to keep Antonio quiet like they did, you know, sometimes it's not just. It's been a combination of a good Man United defensive performance with their talisman back, and the fact that we were still not 100%. But we deserved that draw because we put in an equally good defensive performance as Man United. We were both toothless up front, and the fact that, you know, it's taken a goal that, in my opinion, and until I actually see it again, slow motion. But when they don't start showing the slow motion replays and stuff like that, that's then when you start scratching your head, think, hang on, why not? Why are they not showing it?
Mm-hmm.
You know, because they know. What was the one the other week that we had against us? I think it might have been the Liverpool game. The so-called foul on Salah by Rice, where there was very, very little replay of it, because it was obvious that Rice hadn't fouled Salah and he dived, and then they've gone on to score a goal. This smells very much like that. And I'm at the point where, you know, I wasn't going to watch the game today, but then I saw that there was eyes up and stuff like that. And I thought, yeah, let's join in. And I thought, actually, the refs had a good game, blah, blah, blah. There was the 50-50s and whatever on the throw-ins. And then they score, and there's no check. And from camera angles, it looked like Cavani's offside. They blow the whistle. Lack of replays already. Man U have just won a game at Old Trafford. You know, since when is there not a reel of replays? They they'll be smashing out over it for ages normally, but they've gone straight to studios, no replays. That to me, tells a bigger story.
Well, what I can tell you is that Manchester United fans, Rio, agree largely with what you guys are saying. Looking at redcafe.net, Bestio7 says he was offside. What the hell was VAR doing? I don't care, though. Get in. And Adam United says, I was worried Rashford might be off, but on the replay, Cavani definitely looked off. It might have just been a camera illusion, though. So there's more comments on there. Apparently, someone else on the Red Cafe forum saying Crossy 1686 says VAR did check and said it was onside. So who are we to argue? Rio. Yeah,
just a couple of comments on the forum, kind of backing up the decision, saying like Cresswell had played him on, but the biggest statement for me is on the BBC commentary thread, and from a certain Mark Lawrenson. He looked offside Edison Cavani. He really seriously did. There will be a row about this one, I bet. The number of strange decisions from VAR we have seen, you never, ever know. Mm-hmm. And this is Mark Lawrenson. I don't think likes West Ham that much.
Yeah, I'm not sure he's, as an ex-Liverpool player, he's probably that keen on Man United either, to be fair. But an interesting comment nonetheless. But it's strange that it. I think you guys are absolutely right. We've seen West Ham's goals checked for any slight incursion or infringement, and mulled over for 3 or 4 minutes at times. We saw the one. Who was it against when we were leading 1-0? A few weeks, Brighton. I think it was Brighton, wasn't it? When we were 1-0 up, and the Antonio on the goal line, where it initially looked like someone might be offside, and then they found another reason to disallow it. We, of course, ended up dropping 2 points. Well, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, it's difficult for us to comment now, isn't it? Because we haven't had the opportunity to see a replay and see the VAR check, which for some reason, as Nick rightly pointed out, was mysteriously missing from the TV coverage. But we'll come back to that in due course, because I'm sure news of that will break in time. The point is, Nick, the match has finished 1-0 to Manchester United. It's a huge blow for West Ham and our Champions League aspirations.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I think the blow to our Champions League aspirations were beyond today, much sooner than today. The blow to our aspiration were when we've gone into the start of yet another season back in August with relying on Antonio to keep up his superb form and not have anybody in. I wasn't expecting a season like last season. I was hoping we'd get a season like last season. And as the season has progressed, I'm just left scratching my head as to why we've wasted the money on the likes of Vlasic, loan fees on Krau, when they're barely getting a look at it. Vlasic weren't even on the pitch today, was he? And that's with Ben Rama out, and there's a striker right there with that money. And I know it sounds maybe ungrateful because of what Moyes has done, but his stubbornness and this pigeonholing himself up against the wall of this certain type of striker.
Yeah,
he's not endearing himself to me in that respect. And it was said on the forum this morning when I was having a rant about it. We're in fourth, etc. We're going to be nowhere near fourth when it comes to the end of the season and the games have unravelled and the games in hand have been played. I'd see us getting 7th or 8th. We've got Wolves aren't far behind us. They win their game in hand and they're level on points with us. And Brighton as well. They've got games in hand and they're not far behind us. We've thrown 3 points away against Leeds. We've lost a point in dubious circumstances here. But to be honest, we shouldn't be relying on VAR and stuff like that. We had opportunities. Okay. With a bit more quality in the top final third, we had opportunities where we could have been the ones that had nicked that. But we haven't. We haven't got the players. Our manager has gone to a whole game without making an attacking substitution because our attackers weren't working. Now, what on earth is that all about? Try something. Something's better than nothing.
Yeah.
It's a combination. There's a lot of things that have quite obviously pissed me off, to put a finer point on it, with the VAR and Moyes' approach to this entire game, and really, I suppose, the season as a whole, because we had the potential to push on this season, and in typical West Ham fashion, it seemed like it's going to fizzle out and fart. So,
okay, I'm going to bring you back to that VAR decision. I've got a steal for you. Ready for this one?
You're going to stitch me right up there, aren't you?
No, if anything, I think it's going to back up what you're saying. Can you see that?
Yeah, he's offside.
Yeah.
Now, I guess what we're looking at there is Cavani's head against Cresswell's right foot. Now, to me, I'm very surprised that, well, we're assuming VAR's had a look at that, but I'm very surprised that they reached a decision so quickly, if they have done, because that is, I mean, I guess what it boils down to, Rio, is at what point, at which steal, exactly what point are you taking that steal from? Because it's difficult to tell there whether the ball's actually left Martial's foot or whether, you roll it forward another frame or two, he's going to be clearly offside, go back a frame or two, and he's probably going to be onside. So I think this is the issue, isn't it, with VAR? It's that arbitrary nature of when, you take that decision from. At what point is it? Is it? How can you tell exactly what, when that last frame is? But looking at that, Rio, what's your view?
It's off.
Okay.
Not only is he like Noam has put it on our moderators kind of group chat.
Yeah.
If Hammer's put it the exact same still on the forum, he looks off. Now you can go for the head, and let's not factor in the fact that Edison's got a more kind of exuberant haircut than all of us put together. But for me, his shoulder is offside. And all last season, they was going by the way the shoulder, if your shoulder's more in front of the player, that counts as being offside. He's offside for me. And that's as the ball is still touching the player. As you say, roll that on one more frame, and he's clearly offside. There's no debate about it. So as you say, it's how they interpret it. As much as they want to debate the fact, the 6 clubs who try to voluntarily leave the league to join the European riches and destroy the fabric of the English game, they're getting the favour of decisions week in, week out. And that is a case in point. That goal should not have stood. Taking off my carrot and blue specs. You ask any fan around the country, they will say that was an absolute shambles of a decision.
DL, is that change your view at all?
Not at all. And looking at that picture, it's not just his head. Look at the angle of his body. He's also got his shoulders offside as well. The whole left side of his body is offside.
Yeah, I mean, I think Rio's right, isn't he? There's an argument to be made to say that. I mean, obviously the line isn't going straight up the screen. I mean, you go by the line. If I get a chance to do it, I'll put a line in just a second while you guys are chatting.
That the angle we're looking at is slightly skewed.
Yeah.
So if you look at it and tilt it to the left as it should be, he's more than clearly offside.
Right,
You're taking it absolute.
I have this. I have it up on Photoshop now, and I'm straightening it.
Okay, good stuff. I'll leave that one to you then, Nick.
Where's
to
it
take a look
paint
at.
when you want it?
Yes, the old favourite again. The point is, it doesn't matter. It's been given, or as unjust as that may seem, and Nick may well prove that in just a few seconds when we get to look at the line with the correct angle on it, which looks like it's going to show that Cavani's shoulders offside. The fact is, West Ham have been beaten for a second game in a row. Where does this leave us now, Rio, in terms of the rest of the season, the transfer window? Does this make David Moyes' search for new players even more urgent, or is it a case of, well, that's pretty much our chance gone, so we'll keep our powder dry now until the summer?
I still think we need players, and I think this will reinforce it. The biggest disappointment for today in terms of our performance was the fact that we were so disjointed up front.
Yeah.
Mikel Antonio has clearly played far too many games this season.
Yeah.
He's a shadow of what he can be. 2 weeks ago against Leeds in the Cup, he absolutely bullied them. But those performances, instead of being week in, week out, as they were at the start of the season, become once every 3 or 4 weeks if you're lucky.
Mm-hmm.
And today, yes, he's up against Varane and Maguire. But that Manchester United side is vulnerable. They proved it today by sitting back and not taking initiative to us. They paid us a lot of respect because they know that we can hurt them on the counter. And if we played on the counter with Mikel Antonio running at the defenders and bullying them, even England's Harry Maguire wouldn't be able to cope with him. But they are coming far and too far infrequently for my liking. So that forward is desperately needed. We need augmentation at the back. We need augmentation left back. We need someone else in the midfield to help the transition and the attacking impetus. It strengthens our position in terms of needing attacking players and strengthening the squad throughout. In terms of late position, we're treading water. We're relying on other teams to slip up. Obviously, we've still got the 2 cup competitions, which we're very much alive in.
Yeah.
But the league, which is what everyone's craving for, to try and crack that top 4, even cement their place in the top 6, we're relying on other teams now.
Yeah, it's a shame, isn't it? But it certainly looks that way. I mean, Tottenham must have about 15 games in hand on us now, and I think they're only 4 points behind. But of course, it's a huge result for Manchester United in their own personal battle to finish above West Ham this season, and that's been given a major boost by what we've seen today. Should we have a quick look at the match stats, gentlemen, for covering just what we've seen? Possession today, 57% to Manchester United, 43% to West Ham. Manchester United, 18 shots, 3 on target. West Ham, 6 shots, only 1 on target. 3 corners each. Manchester United committing 9 fouls. West Ham United committing 8. And the XG stat, Noam's favourite. Manchester United 1.67. West Ham United 0.27, which is possibly the lowest figure I've ever seen for West Ham this season. The fact of the matter, Nick, is that we just didn't do enough to win that game today, did we?
No,
I mean, we can complain about offsides and that, but we didn't do enough.
No, but we've done enough to not lose it. That in a unfair manner, let's say. Now you've got the regular faces on the forums now, who are saying, "Oh, it was onside, it's onside," blah blah blah. But I have sent you the image on Facebook. I've tried to straighten it, but because of the camera angle, it's quite difficult.
Okay.
And I didn't want to do the confirmation bias because you try to draw straight lines, and the lines, what you probably don't is the lens distortion as well, because the lines on that image are not straight anyway. If that makes sense, they kind of curve, so that you've got the distortion of the lens, I would imagine. Yeah. So you can't get an exact straight line.
Getting a bit technical now, mate.
Yes. So looking on some of them, where I've tried to straighten it and stuff, it's kind of, I don't know. I don't want it to be confirmation bias, if that makes sense. Yeah. I'm not trying to make him look offside, but when you straighten it up to certain other angles, it's without a shadow of a doubt, his upper body is well in front of Cresswell's right foot, well in front of it, and some of them, the angles are so. Yeah, I'm just going to close it down because it's giving me the. I've sent you it on Facebook anyway, so.
Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do is I'm going to just dip into Photoshop quickly now, and I'm going to take the 6-yard line, which is the same angle, give or take a yard or two, and I'm just going to repaste that on. So I'll do that in just a second. Should we have a quick look at the forums while I'm fannying about with Photoshop, Rio, and just see what the rest of our fellow Hammers are saying about that game?
Yeah, absolutely. Here we go. Are you ready? Strap yourselves in. This is going to be a bumpy ride. West Ham eggy and chips. We were crap again today. Can't blame anyone but ourselves. Although a lack of options from the bench is a key part of this season, it is killing us. Lionel the Hammer. As much as Ronaldo is talented, he's such an arrogant bleep, total bleep. And with that smile walking off the pitch, I'm gutted, but we're not going to have a meltdown over it. Some of these posts this season is really poor. We need to go over it and get a reality check. Yep. We go again next week in the FA Cup, then Watford at home. Come on, you Irons. Peaches, that's truly awful. We just about deserved the point. We should have killed it off. Just hope it doesn't ruin our season. Awful defending from Creswell, as he was the last man playing Cavani on side. And that somehow still managed not to get in front of Rashford. It all come a very stupid pass from Lanzini to Dawson that forced him to play the ball under pressure. They still had a lot to do, but Lanzini had the ball under absolutely no pressure at all and made a very terrible decisions. Kick the car. One of the worst things that Lanzini and Antonio wasn't hooked at any point by Moyes. Il Martello di Giovinazzi. That doesn't look offside to me. Cresswell plays him on. Not even aware of Rashford either. Dog awful header from Fredericks led to it. Absolutely perfect performance. A misplaced header given the ball away pretty much is what I've been doing all game. Jib Hammer. This is the problem with VAR and the bias in football. If there's any other side bar us, with St. Jerome, which lines out for a good couple of minutes. It was an extremely close call, but VAR decision took less than 1 minute in this instance.
Yeah, that's an important point, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, if there was a hair's width from it, either way, it could have been scratched off. Danny Boyd, DJL, Cresswell has played him on there. I'm more worried about the performance from Antonio. Schoolboy levels of control, ducking out of headers, passing straight out of touch multiple times. You're trying to tell me there's not one single striker in world football can offer more than that out there. Absolute joke. Moyes, you've got to use your bleeping subs. I thought we would have won that one because they played midweek and we didn't. That was the excuse last week, wasn't it? Yeah, there's just a lot of criticism of both the way we've set up. There's a lot of defence, and there's not people defending the VAR decision there, which I can't quite understand.
Yeah.
I think the last comment I'm going to make of the four here is from Red Stretch. We've defended really, really well, but we're so slow in midfield and toothless up front. It's becoming boring, predictable again, just like we were for a few years before Moyes. This time last year, Jesse was a breath of fresh air, but we look so stale now. And I hate to knock on about the Lingard effect because I don't think he's interested in himself, but he's got a point now. Last year, he rejuvenated the side in around this time of year.
Yeah. And
we looked a completely different unit once he joined us. Could he reinvigorate us once again? Does he actually want to? That's a big debating point for me at the moment.
Even if it's not Lingard, somebody else that could have the same kind of galvanising effect. I do look. I said earlier on about say up for like someone like Coutinho who's gone to Villa. Now, although we didn't really kind of need him, that's kind of a statement signing. And in the lines of Lingard, I would have thought. I could be wrong, but again, it's just somebody who's got that compared to who we've got. And it's aside from Rice and perhaps Bowen, he would be the best player on the pitch if we had signed him. Not saying we should have, but just using him as an example, if that's maybe the sort of player we need to go with, someone that can give everybody a lift. Now, I'm chuckling to myself at the images that have now been posted on the match forums the match thread where people have drawn the lines, and I'm not sure what angles they're using on the lines when you're going with a parallel of the grass cuttings or the 6-yard box or whatever. That's showing nothing. That's not...
Just on that, let me come to that, Nick, because I've got two pictures here for you. Okay, now, first of all, I've got the official picture from VAR, which they've used to determine that Cavani is onside. Now, what I urge you to do is take particular notice of the point at which that particular shot has been taken, and by that I mean that. So the first shot is the official VAR picture. where the ball is still quite clearly on the instep of Martial's right foot. The second shot I'm going to show you is the one we had earlier, which I said I would mess about with in Photoshop and put the line at the correct angle, which is clearly taken 1 or 2 frames after, but still looks like the ball hasn't left Martial's foot. Now, this is going to cause lots of arguments, I think, but let's have a look and see what we've got. So I'll share this with you. This is the first. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Now that's the official VAR picture. Okay. Now, as you can see, they've got the. Oops, don't want to see that. I don't. Why? Hang on a second.
Graham's panicking there, just in case those pictures come up.
Right. Let's go back. Okay, no, wrong one. It's all right. It's scrolling through my folder because I put it in full screen. So anyway, back to where we were. That's the official picture. That's the official.
I've still got the bubble.
Now look at where the ball is on Martial's foot.
I can't
let the ball go yet. Okay,
we've only got the bubbles.
Let me go in. Let me zoom in, so you can see quite clearly here
on the screen. All we've got showing at the moment is still a picture of the club walk, Antonio and Ben Johnson. Walking out of the bubbles.
Hang on, let me come out of that. Technical issues. Let me stop sharing that, and I'll reshare because it looks like it's gone to the wrong window. So, can you see it now?
Yeah. I can see the official.
Now, have a look at that. Look where the ball is on Martial's foot. Right, it's quite clearly not left his foot yet. Okay, no. So that's the first frame. Now that's the official VAR check. They've looked at it, and as you can see there. I mean, to me, it even looks there like his shoulders offside. I mean, it's clearly further ahead of the blue line than Cresswell's foot is, isn't it? Anyway, That's what they've gone by. Now, what I'm going to show you next, and I'll come out of that, bear that one in mind. Now, this one is our picture that we looked at earlier with the line in, and it's clearly a couple of frames further on, because the ball was actually just leaving Martial's foot here. Look at the difference. Can you see that?
Yep.
Now, look at the position of the ball on Martial's foot. Still hasn't quite left his foot. All right, it's not a particularly clear picture. Look at the difference between Cresswell's foot, which is now clearly behind the line, and Cavani's shoulder, which is quite clearly in front of the line. Now, I've done that as best I can. If you look at the line where the penalty spot is, the angle's pretty much spot on. But what strikes me there, my takeaway from that is that now, without going into the realms of conspiracy theories and all that, it looks like that arbitrary decision to take the picture when they did is done to serve Manchester United and not West Ham United.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you could have taken that decision from either frame. One suggests that Cavani's slightly offside. The second one suggests that Cavani is clearly offside, in my view. What's your view on that, gents? Rio first.
You're absolutely spot on. That is, it's a matter of a subject. It's subjective, isn't it?
Yeah.
You take it one frame earlier. There's debate there. The frame later, the ball's still not officially left his foot, and he's clearly offside. Now it is done weighted in favour of those 6 teams who, as I mentioned earlier, try to leave the league and said they're going to get penalties galore and thrown to the stocks and get fruit thrown at them. Nothing's happened, and they're still getting favourable decisions week in, week out, and it's an absolute shocking shambles of and it makes a mockery of our league.
Yeah. DL, I guess you're with Rio and myself on that one.
Yeah,
we're sitting for the same hymn sheet here.
It's doctored, isn't it? That's the thing. The whole thing is, this is what we're using. Forget it. The fact that the ball has still not been released from Rashford's foot when he's clearly offside. It's why I didn't really want to do what I was doing, because I could have quite easily made it look totally like it was miles offside, but I didn't, because I didn't want to do the confirmation bias, where if I was going to start straightening the lines because of distortion and whatever else, which is what you can do in Lightroom and Photoshop. But I didn't.
Yeah.
I left it at that because I thought no, because you can easily doctor an image to make it look how you want it.
Yeah.
But you've done it extremely basic, a couple of frames on, and he's offside. That's the confirmation bias again. But come the end of the weekend, the top six is going to be the big six. And I think that's what Sky, the Premier League, and the brand want. This big shit, this big, nearly a Freudian slip there, the big shits. Nearly, the ones that were going to leave everybody else to it.
Yeah.
And just disappear and get given a piecemeal fine rather than what they deserved, which was a point deduction for bringing the game into disrepute and threatening the integrity of the league. But quite clearly, the league doesn't have integrity, period. Hasn't had it for some time.
That's another moot point. If the actual points have been deducted as allegedly suggested, where would we be in the league? I dare say we wouldn't be in front of Manchester City because they're too far ahead of everybody. But we'd certainly be second, third.
But anyway,
quite possibly. But there you go.
At the end of
We sound like bitter old men, don't we?
I'm sitting there thinking, are we banging on too much about this? But then I'm thinking, well, no, I think this is a really good example of the issue people have with VAR, isn't it? It is completely, determined by when you take that freeze frame. And I think we've proven here that depending on when you choose to take the frame is the difference between winning a game and losing a game. And it can be determined. Now, and of course, the question therein is, if this was West Ham, if the boot was on the other foot and this was West Ham attacking, would we have been given the benefit of the doubt like that? Now, are we being bitter old men to suggest that perhaps the Premier League might have determined Jarrod Bowen or Michail Antonio in that situation to be offside? I kind of think we might.
Well, we've seen it earlier in the season. Every time we have scored, we've had everything checked. Like, was it offside? Was it handball? Is he wearing a claret shirt? Has he got a Betway sign across his front of his shirt? Every single possible check to deny us a goal.
Yeah.
That was just cursory at best. And that's probably one of the closest decisions I've seen all season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it looks like they've, given the benefit of the doubt to the attacking team. But anyway, let's move on. I think we've pretty much done that to death now. And you guys at home watching the stream, you can make your own mind up. Let us know what you think. Do you think he was offside? Do you think the Premier League VAR team were correct to?
So try to add a bit of balance. Trying to add a bit of balance to this, so we don't, or at least myself, don't come across as a bitter old man. Ideally, if we had some decent options up front against a relatively weak, by their standards, Man United team, then we should have been looking at that being perhaps a consolation goal rather than it being the winning goal, because let's not detract from the fact we were absolutely useless in the final third against a Man United team that on their day, well, they don't have their day anymore, do they? They're just another has-been. They're going into the doldrums just like Liverpool were for many, many years after they won the title. What was it, 29 years they went, Liverpool? I could see Man U doing the same thing. Same as Arsenal. Football goes in stages. Man U have had their day. They're just an ordinary team that we, as top four aspirational, as our manager said, it's not my words, it's him, said that's what we're aiming for. Are trying to aim for the top four with a top eight strike force that's getting more and more tired. But no, nobody saw this coming though, did we?
I'd even argue against that, Nick. I'd say we're aiming for a top 8 place with a top 14 defence over the last few weeks until Zuma was fit again. A strike force which is probably top 12 at most, we're punching well above our weight.
We are.
And we're making a mockery of the likes of Manchester United and Arsenal, who spend millions of pounds every single year chasing the dream, never achieve it, because, as you say, football's cyclical. But it's not as cyclical as it used to be, because the money is so weighted towards the teams with the money, like the likes of Chelsea, Man City. They won't drop off a cliff as much as the other two will.
No, they won't, because they've got the oligarch owner.
That so-called Super Six doesn't like Guild have been upset. We threatened, Leicester have threatened. What have they done to counter that? They've tried to leave.
Yeah, they don't like it. They take their dummy and they've tried to
absolutely, mate.
Football, and it's a shame, and it's what I've lost. It's a shame because I used to be bang into football, and it's again sounding like a bitter old man. It's not the same, and it's not changed for the better. It's not changed for the better, and it's quite sad. I kind of feel sorry in a way for those that didn't know the football in the 80s and 90s before the Premier League came in, because it's no longer a sport. It's more like a brand. Can you ever see us doing another 86? I can't see it happening, and we've now got a new kid on the block as well. And this is why I'm so annoyed that we've left it. We haven't replaced Haller. This is the thing that still does my head in, because we're not going to get opportunities like this come again, because this top six, this big six, is soon to become a big seven if Newcastle stay up. Make no mistake about that. Don't think that Eddie Howe, if they stay up, don't think that Eddie Howe was going to be the manager of Newcastle. Nobody wanted that Newcastle job because they looked dead and buried. Nobody worth their salt. But if Newcastle stay up, and with the thought of being bankrolled by a nation, it's going to be a big seven. And it may even be at the expense of Tottenham or Arsenal, if it's going to remain a big six, so to speak. They're the elephant in the room at the moment, and we're not. People on the forum saying it's a 5-year plan. Well, this 5-year plan's had a stick stuck in the spokes, because now Newcastle are going to be joining the echelons of Man City and Chelsea with being bankrolled basically by a nation. Can't discount them. And it's not all about long-termism. Sometimes you have to bite the bullet for the short term to get the benefits long-term. I think this may well, today's the day, I think maybe the pennies even drop with me that next season, this is going to be the last season with Rice as well, because now slight hopes have gone of keeping Rice and us getting into Champions League. The only thing we can rely on is the Europa League, but we're facing a far stiffer type of opposition than we faced in the group stages.
Yeah,
okay.
It's another step in quality, and I don't think we have the quality. We're running on empty. I don't think we'll progress much further in the competition, sadly. But fun while it lasted, I guess.
Well, it's all doom and gloom on here this afternoon, chaps, isn't it, eh?
It is now.
I've got one positive.
Go on, Rio. Lighten it up a little bit.
During the whole last 15, 20 minutes of moaning, not one of us said during the war.
During the war? This is very true. Anyway, let's move on from VAR and all that stuff. Let's look at positives from that, gentlemen. Let's talk about man of the match. Who out of the players we had out there today most impressed you? Rio, I'll come to you first on this one.
For me, it was Craig Dawson.
Yeah.
I thought he had a shocker last Sunday. Absolute shocker. Issa probably out-shockered him at the end there, but it was a sum of two parts, and they both created havoc amongst themselves. Today, barring that one little ricket he had earlier on, one slack pass, I thought he defended exemplary. You can argue that the goal eventually that did arise come from down his side, but if you're going to take it to the absolutes, Cress would have played him onside. But I thought he defended with absolute aplomb, put himself on the line, and he was outstanding today for me.
Nick, how about you?
Can't really disagree there. Our defence was Dawson and Zuma. I think most other players on the pitch with the exception of Bowen. I don't think Rice had one of his best games either, to be honest.
Right.
I've got some interesting stats about Wright's first half performance.
Go on then, you're going to make me look silly again, aren't you?
No, I didn't think he stood out, but I got sent this, and let me just try and find it quickly because I know it's not very good YouTubing if I don't find it that quick. But Declan Rice in the first half, 100% long ball, long pass accuracy, 100% take on success, 100% tackle success, 100% duels won, 32 out of 33 passes completed. And I didn't think he had a particularly good game. I thought he was one of the shining light in midfield for us. But if I'm picking Craig Dawson ahead of Declan Rice, it's because there was a warrant to it. But I haven't seen the second half stats, but guess that someone sent me the first half, but statistics there.
Yeah. Okay. Good stuff.
And Declan Rice is the player that Manchester United desperately need.
Yeah. Certainly looked like it today. I mean, one player. I mean, I wanted to ask you about this during the game as well, chaps. I mean, I'm going to go with both of you, by the way. I thought it was a 50-50 really between Dawson and Zuma. Dawson made that early error, but atone for it and was pretty much exemplary after. And Zuma, given that he's been out for nearly 3 months, was excellent as well. But let's talk about Thomas Souček for a minute. There's been plenty of talk about how his game has been affected this season by the fact that Declan Rice has been given more rope and the opportunity to make those forays forward and deeper into opposition territory, which he wasn't doing last year. He tended to sit deep while Souček took up those positions and scored so many goals from it. Is there more evidence of that today, or is there not much in that, Nick?
I said that on the Rice thread a little while ago. I think that as good a player as Rice is, sometimes you have to think of the team as a whole. And I was getting it thrown at me. I just love watching. I go to watch football to be entertained, etc., etc. It's a fine sight watching Rice do these marauding runs, etc., etc. And then he did one run, didn't he, where he's got an assist.
Yeah.
And then apparently I was still completely wrong. But then talking to supporters, well, actually, whilst I was away, and some of them were Leeds supporters as well when I stayed up in York, in the bar, having a drink about football. Some nice chaps. And they said what an absolutely amazing player role Declan Rice was. And they noticed the difference, how easy it was for them to just walk through our central midfield last week. They commented on that, and they said if that was Deck was playing as solely as a defensive midfielder, they wouldn't have got that result. And I still think him being given 2-3 role is having a detrimental effect on the team. Now, it may be entertaining to watch. He may be able to do what he's doing, but we don't have the other players that can then plug the hole that he leaves when he goes right up the other end of the pitch. And he leaves other teams that are able to just walk through us in the middle. And that was, again, that was happening a bit today when he was quite far up the pitch, with them coming through and leaving our centre-backs exposed. He's a Rolls Royce of a player, make no shadow of a doubt. This is not a criticism of Declan Rice at all. Yep. I think what our manager needs to be doing is using Declan Rice for what he is best at, which is as the best defensive midfielder in the world at the moment, because we can't afford to be leaving ourselves short in defensive midfield because Deck's running up the other end of the pitch, trying to create something. And again, no disrespect to him, more often than not, when he goes up that end of the pitch, nothing gets created apart from a glaring hole at the back. Now, yes, it is good to watch him running up, covering 5,000 and something yards that he's done this season with his runs. But there's no point covering all that distance with those runs if nothing or very little is coming out of it. It's pointless. Leave somebody else to do that running, somebody that is a bit more creative, because we can all run in a straight line with football. Yeah. But if nothing comes of it, then there's no point. But it's just padding out his stats, which, I don't know if that's on Deck or if that is on the manager for giving him 2-3 a roam. But we've not looked as fluid. We've not looked as fluid and cohesive since he's been given this free role, and that's not a criticism on Rice. He'd probably be great in a Man United, in a Man City, doing that role. That's not to say he can't do it, but for West Ham United, we need to be using him as a defensive midfielder because at the moment there's too many gaps.
Do you go along with what Nick's saying there, Rio, or do you just think perhaps Souček is suffering from the second season nerves in a sense?
I think Nick is absolutely spot on with everything he says.
Yeah.
First of all, York is one of the greatest places to have a drink in Britain. But most of all, Declan Rice is. We're a sum of parts, West Ham. We're not a team that can revolve around individuals.
Yeah.
I think his license to roam is a caveat to keeping him here longer. It's not to augment the team and make us more successful, because last year it worked perfectly well. Him sitting back, Thomas Souček going forward for set pieces. I know Tom's done, like, if you look at the stats, again, I'm going to bump up the podcast here, that the guys provide. Thomas Souček's defensive stats been exemplary this season.
Well, we saw it today, didn't we? We saw an example of that when in that
absolutely.
incident where Dawson gave the ball away and he was back to put in that challenge.
But also Declan did that last season as well, allowing Souček the friend to roam up and get the goals.
Yeah,
Declan transformation, and I am sure it is part of the reason that we're keeping a little bit longer than we necessarily might have done. His license to run forward and be the new Scott Parker isn't necessarily benefiting us at times. If he'd have sat deep today and done a defensive job, as Nick said, we would have walked away with a point here at least.
Mm-hmm.
His license to roam isn't necessarily the best thing for us as a club.
Yeah.
And it's not a knock, it's not digging at Deck, because I love the fella. I love what he does for the club. I love him as a person. I love him as a player.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not doing us many favours as a team. And that's what we need. As a team, we need to be kind of utilising our best players in their best positions.
Yeah.
A certain player called Makaleli had a whole role defined around him.
Yeah.
Not because he went marauding forward, because he didn't. Because he was the best in the world at doing what he did. And Declan could do that. Declan, as Nick said, is the best defensive midfielder in the world at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
But because he's making his forays forward, he wants to be the complete midfielder, he's taken away from the team. You know, I said, I'm not knocking Deck in any attribute whatsoever, because I think the world of him as a person, a player. He looks like he wants to be the next captain of West Ham. Mm-hmm. But we know he's going to move on at some point. And I think he's auditioning for that role to move on to a bigger and better club eventually, by taking on more responsibility in an attacking role. He doesn't need to do it. Just sit and do what you do best, which is sit, mop up, distribute.
Yeah.
Not need to maraud forward.
Okay. All right. Well, it's interesting. I mean, because there's, a lot of people have expressed that viewpoint or sympathy for that view on the forum. So it'd be interesting to see how that develops in the coming months and seasons, assuming we get the opportunity to see Declan continue playing at West Ham. Moby on the live chat asks, what do we think of Areola? Now, I guess that didn't really get the opportunity to see much of him, did we? I mean, we saw those stats. Man United had 18 shots, only 3 on target. So what were they? One would have been the goal. One was the save. He made that good save, didn't he, to his right? When was that? Just flicking back through my notes here.
Not about 75, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, I can't remember what the other save was, or the other shot that was on target.
It was just a low shot that was bread and butter.
Was that the one to the left where Ronaldo was offside? Not sure, but anyway. But he didn't have an awful lot to do. But Nick, as we established in the first half, you're a big fan of Areola. Do you were you confident that he could cement his place in the team from what you saw today?
Well, as you say, he didn't really see much. He touched the ball 3 times, apart from goal kicks and stuff. And one of those, sadly, was to pick the ball out of the back of the net. But no, I've seen enough of him in the past and the way he was in Europe. Apart from the one flaky game, I think, of when he made his debut, he's been pretty solid. But turning back from what I was saying at the start of the season, because I was giving him pelters, is how Fabianski's turned his season around.
Yeah.
After, in my opinion, being quite responsible for a few of the goals that we let in early doors, which shows how long I've been since I've been on here. I still think he's at the age now where perhaps he could be number 2 next season. Now, and we make Areola permanent. The season's too far in now to be switching main keepers. And if we are going to make the change to keep Areola, then make the change from next season, because the way Fabianski has performed since the last time I was on here, he still deserves to keep his place.
Okay, good stuff. Areola for you, Rio?
I think it's very unfair to judge him today, to be honest, because normally you go to Old Trafford as a West Ham fan and you expect your keeper to be auditioning for the role of number 1. And as you said, he had 3 things to do today. You can't blame him for the goal. We've debated that already. I ain't going to go there again.
Mm-hmm.
He made one exceptional save, although it wasn't a comfortable height. And the other one on target was so non-plus that we don't even remember it. So you can't really judge him on today's performance for me.
Yeah.
What I do like about him is, I said before, I think his distribution is a class above Fabianski.
Yeah.
But as Nick said, the fact that Fabianski has come from the start of the season where we thought we brought Areola in and we thought, well, we've got a close run thing here between 2 keepers.
Mm-hmm.
He's actually cemented his place as the number 1 until the last week or so, when he's looked a little bit infallible. His distribution is showing signs of wear and tear. And as we said before the game, we're in a really fortunate position. We've probably got, out of all the teams in the league, I think there's only probably one team, possibly 2 teams, have got a bit another 1 and 2 keeper combination than us.
Mm-hmm.
So it's unfair to judge Areola on the day, but he didn't do a thing wrong whatsoever.
No, I think for me the thing is that when I look at a team sheet and I see Darren Randolph's name on there, I'm concerned. With all credit to Darren Randolph, who's been a very good goalkeeper. I've expressed before my concerns about his handling and the way he deals with crosses, which is my biggest issue. But the point is, when I see Alphonse Areola's name on the team sheet, I'm not concerned at all. I don't suddenly think, I hope we don't get barrage of crosses coming in. And I think that's the biggest indicator, really, that I think he could be a long-term successor to Fabianski, who, as Nick rightly pointed out, has been fabulous this season. Made some fantastic saves. That one against Norwich, wasn't it, last week, at 1-0 when it could have changed the game, was instrumental on that occasion. But yeah, so good. Everyone in agreement on that one. So we're going to wrap up fairly soon, chaps, because I've got to go and write a bit of content for the site. Before I do that, Rio's plugged it a couple of times. I want to give a special mention to the new KUMB podcast team of Chris, Jack, and Callum. It's been a while since we've been able to put a podcast out under the KUMB name that's of the required quality, and we've certainly found that now. If you've not listened to the new podcast, please do so. It's fantastic stuff. The analytical work that Jack and Callum put in, marshalled by the head teacher, who is Chris. It's fabulous stuff. Really worth listening to, and gives you a completely alternative view on the game that you might not be aware of. If you go to the KUMB.com website, look under the main menu. If you go to the WHU/KUMB tab, and then from there you look at the KUMB tab, and you've got the podcast, all the latest editions. There's pretty much one every week for you to go and have a look at it there. Go and have a look. It's fabulous stuff, and the guys are going to be stars, I think, of the West Ham analytics team. Going to go a long way in years to come. So we're delighted to be able to give them the opportunity to bring their work to a wider audience. Of course, Jack and Callum are writing a daily article for Knees Up Mother Brown throughout January on potential transfer targets, loosely based on the same thing, based on an analytical perspective of those players' performances. There's one every day. Today it was Douglas Santos. Yesterday, Fabio Cavallo. players that, in their opinion, West Ham should be looking at and why, and the statistics to back up why they think they would be a good fit for West Ham. So if you go and look at the opinion tab under the main menu on kumb.com, you'll see all those articles listed there. One every day for January, 8 more to go, of course, 9 more to go, 22nd today. So go and have a look. Some fantastic work being done by those guys. And of course, also, you've got all the regulars still posting. Paul Walker posting regular articles as well that sum up West Ham's situation probably better than anyone else from an independent perspective. So some really good content on KUMB, of course, at the moment. And don't forget the forum, which is core to everything we do, where you all get the opportunity to have your say over what is happening at West Ham United. That's kumb.com/forum. Go and join in the fun, which is where we're going to be going very shortly, but not until we've looked ahead to our next outing. Of course, we've got a little bit of a break now, which is rather disappointing time to take it after back-to-back defeats. But we're up next. We'll look at the next 2 games, actually, given that one's in the Cup and one's in the Premier League. We start... Right, it's a bit of a banana skin, isn't it? It's one you can't win, really. The FA Cup 4th round tie at Kidderminster in the 6th tier. We go there on the 5th of February. And then 3 days later, we face Watford at home in the Premier League. Now, Nick, I guess you'd expect on paper back-to-back wins in those 2 games. Do you see a second string being put out of Kidderminster in light of the fact that we played Watford 72 hours or so later?
I hope not. I want us to do a Man City and do them 8-9-0 and just take the rise out of them. I don't buy this old trick. Don't be nice to them kind of thing. No, get some confidence up. But that seemed to be the problem against Leeds and maybe against Man United today. Apart from Bowen, our front line doesn't seem to be exuding confidence.
Yep.
At the moment. Send Antonio out. If he twangs his hamstring, he twangs his hamstring. He's if he goes against Kidderminster, then it would have gone against Watford anyway, kind of thing. Is the way I look at it. Let him go out there and go and smash a hat trick against them, and stick Vlasic on so he can get a hatful. I don't know how to approach it really. Yeah. All I've learned is over me 47 years is to not expect West Ham to do anything, because you just end up disappointed.
Surely we can't lose this one, though, can we? I mean, we've lost. We've had some dodgy games before against non-league opposition, but this is a professional Moyes West Ham. Surely they're not going to have any problems, are they?
No, probably not. But it's if we could just scrape a little 1-0 or something like that against them, I think there might be a few murmurings. I want us to absolutely annihilate. I know it's harsh at Kidderminster, but I do. I just want us to show our quality and what we can do. Even if it's just some of the under 23s, smashing 6, 7, 8 past them, but just wreck them.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Do you think Moyes will play some of those, the likes of Okaflex and Harrison Ashby and Ajibola and players, like that?
Maybe
Jamal Baptiste,
maybe 1 or 2. Literally, maybe 1 or 2. Not too many changes, because we did that against, was it Genk? And
Zagreb, when we,
Zagreb, sorry. Yep. He did that. And I was arguing the toss against that. And once we lost against Zagreb, we lost our momentum and we went on that crappy run. And doesn't matter who your team plays, it's still, the results will still say West Ham lost or scraped to a very slight win against Kidderminster. You know what I mean? So you can't be too dangerous with it. Strongest team possible. Maybe rest 1 or 2. I wouldn't rest too many.
Okay, so a bit of half and half for you. Then throw a few kids in there just to bump up the numbers a little bit.
Just 1 or 2. But I think we need to have Antonio in there so he can score some goals to break his drought. So
right. Okay. Excellent. All right. Rio, Kidderminster, Watford, how do you see those going?
I know Nick said he'd like to destroy Kidderminster into oblivion. If you've ever been to Kidderminster, you'd quite agree with that.
I have, yes.
Yeah. Please wipe off the earth. Russia after Ukraine, Kidderminster next. No, I can't disagree with that.
Okay.
I actually think Moyes under West Ham under Moyes is a completely different proposition to West Ham in previous years.
Yeah.
We've seen our second string side progress into the League Cup quarterfinals by beating City and United. It wasn't a full strength side then. The Zagreb game was a bit of an anomaly, but you've got to factor in that we played a whole brand new back line. There was a striker who never played before in his life, apart from like a cameo against, was it Genk away about 10, 15 minutes?
Yeah.
That was a complete change of perception from the David Moyes that we've seen. Who never really, I know he bleeds players, like young players in. When he comes out to crunch in key games, he doesn't. So I expect us to play 2 or 3 youngsters and progress. The Watford game's the biggest one. They look awful at the moment. I know Ranieri had that purple patch for Leicester, but I've never really rated him as a manager. Watford look at absolute shambles. If we can't negotiate Kidderminster and Watford in the same week, then there's something serious amiss at West Ham. And I expect our side to be augmented by at least 2 players, hopefully 3. I don't see nothing wrong with us in the next couple of weeks.
All right. Okay. Well, that's just about it from us this afternoon. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you to Rio. Thank you to Nick for joining us on the stream. It's finished. Manchester United 1. West Ham United 0. The hammer's undone in the 3rd, or 13 seconds from the end of time. Substitute Marcus Rashford scoring the only goal. Controversial, though it was. And people will argue about it all night long, I'm sure, and beyond. But the fact of the matter is the goal stands as given. And West Ham are condemned to defeat from a game which really we never looked like losing at any point until right at the end. That's just about it from us this afternoon. My thanks also, as well as to Nick and Rio, to everyone joining us on the live stream. Thanks as always for your company. We shall be back again very soon, maybe for Kidderminster, maybe for Watford, but the Eyes Up Mother Brown team will be back with you in due course. Enjoy the break. Until then, we've got a weekend off next weekend, haven't we? So, yeah, good stuff. Back-to-back defeats for West Ham, but let's not forget it's been a fantastic season so far. And I suspect there's still a few twists and turns to go before we get to May anyway. Until we meet again, take care, everyone, and come on, you Irons.
Up the Irons.